Chronicle of the Crown, session 29. Last time, our illustrious group of revolutionaries, heroes, had set out from the Great Swamp and the city of Oronin, also known as the Poet's Harbor, wishing to, I suppose, do a favor to probably everyone in the region, but more specifically to the poet, the ostensible, I suppose leader would be a good word for the Poet's Harbor Society. There is an area to the north of the Great Swamp and to the northwest of the holy city of Keramaros, which is called the Eraduath, which is the shadowed wasteland of worn rock and jagged pieces of stone, hilly countryside, lots of grooves, and sort of the terrain looks like, if you know to what that might look like, the terrain looks like it's been heavily scourged by a receding glacier, lots of deep grooves in the ground, and it's just giant pieces of stone left just freestanding on grass now. And we had King Cameron, the Necromancer King, summon an unquiet spirit to lead the party through this ominous landscape, which, by the way, the entire time the party are sort of leveraging these like thick mist banks that roll across the Eraduath on the regular to hide themselves as they go, seeing the various camps of the Pale Ones dotting the landscape. And they are all the while, and still are, shadowed by this oppressive feeling. There's an evil presence that dampens the spirit that you noted immediately upon entering the hills and the gorges of Eraduath. And now we are standing at the lip of one gorge and are staring down. There's a handful of Pale Ones milling about an excavated opening into one of the sort of sides of this gorge, and there's some equipment there, not currently in use, hasn't been used in a while, but there's the excavation equipment, the mining equipment laying there. And there seems to be, they've dug out some kind of entrance deeper into the ground from the bottom of the gorge. And so we are trying to, at the same time as I'm setting this up, we are trying to exercise some tech demons from Davron's camera. But we are starting from the lip of this gorge, staring down. You see a number of Pale Ones. What do you do?
Okay, so
there's a lot of distance. There's like you're in no immediate danger at all. You are effectively hidden for the moment.
Yeah, so based on the previous descriptions from last session, there was like a low-lying mist. That's correct, isn't it?
Yeah. Almost everywhere there's mist around here.
So very, very roughly speaking, like what sort of height does this mist reach to? Like, if we ducked down, could we like keep in the mist and like try and sneak that way?
You could, but it's not steady. It sort of rolls and sort of, it's kind of like waves, and you could use it that way, but it's kind of unpredictable. So we're going to roll for that, but it's definitely possible. You've been doing it for a while.
Okay, well, as someone who's very good at remaining inconspicuous, I'm my basic plan, and obviously I'll be sort of like relaying this to the others, is I think we should like wait a little bit, try and gauge the sort of ebb and flow of these waves of mist that seem pretty constant, but like you say, they're sort of ebbing and flowing. And I think we should wait until like a large fog bank, for want of a better term, sort of rolls forward. Then we should use that as cover to get to our destination. Sort of like trucks. Obviously, we haven't got the resources to take on the full might of the Pale Ones, all of them in this area. That's become abundantly clear. So I think we need to use because we're trying to get to like the sort of like the tomb sort of bit, aren't we? Like the sort of entrance way.
I think that was the well, that is specifically what we're here for, because we were led here by the spirit, and
Yes.
the spirit was asked to take you to where you need to go, and this is where
I
you.
think Cameron will converse with the spirit and see if. Can I get an idea of how far we are from our destination, and anything they can reveal about the mist? Saying this is a natural occurrence, or this is some kind of a supernatural malaise of what these Pale Ones have done.
And whilst my leash converses with the disquiet spirit, I shall of course keep a watch on the surrounding area. You know, station myself behind some rocks or something like that, trying to make best use of cover, but like trying to get like a good field of vision. So like if we get spotted, I'll sort of know about it, and we'll have a little bit of forewarning.
Yeah. So we have our watch as you discuss, seemingly with the air, as the unquiet dead are not manifested at all. They are a presence more than anything else. There's a whisper of a voice that says, "The shadow lies in the ground." And you get a cold waft of air as the voice talks to you.
And it is beneath the earth we will search. Please lead on. Take us to the entrance to this tomb, if you have knowledge of it.
Apologies for the interruption. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Right, I had technical difficulties. Apologies. Back now.
Well, you know where to go. You don't need the spirit pointing your way now, because you can see the opening. So
Best to have that crossbow of yours armed and ready.
Oh, hey, it's always armed and ready. But
My
So,
liege, I suggest we wait until a heavy fog bank rolls across, and then we use that as cover, using these rocky outcroppings to move from point to point until we reach the intended destination.
yeah, well, we gonna do a distraction of some kind? Because
Hopefully, we won't need to due to the thickness of the fog rolling in.
oh, all right. Well, I'm very distracting. So
We
just
should
let
use
me
the terrain
know,
to our
and,
advantage.
Also, I would like to test something, if I may, Wheelmaster. Now, I'm not a meteorologist. I'm just a simple retired holy warrior seeking to serve his king. However, we know that thanks to my spiritual blessing, I can walk on water. I believe fog is made of water. So what I'm going to do is, as like a little like low-lying waft of fog goes past my feet, I'm just going to try and step on it and see if I can actually like step on it. Just because, like, you never know, it might prove useful if like stuff hits the fan.
The preliminary answer is no, but I will check.
That's fine.
Because
it was a long shot, but I'm like, when am I going to get this opportunity again?
It's a wonderful line of inquiry.
That is how I became known as the fog surfing knight.
fog surfer.
Spirit nature. Okay, so it specifies here. They may walk on earth, mud, water, or ice without difficulty. So, unfortunately, no. I think the term is sublimated water.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna slip ever on ice while you have this. So So you have that going
Pretty
for
much
you.
anything else on the earth, so
Yeah.
not bad. That's
Yeah.
pretty good, actually.
Okay. Yeah, but no. There's mist banks rolling by if you want to have a bit of a roll.
Yeah.
So my basic plan, which obviously I'll run by them lot with, is when a big fog bank rolls across. I believe it's just myself, Davron, and King Cameron at the moment,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you?
and our guide.
Yeah.
Did we
You're.
leave the retinue back in Ornine? I think that was the
I think that was the plan. Yeah,
plan, right? Yeah. Because they're kind of not dead weight, but
they're noticeable.
soldiers? Yeah, and why risk them when we have so few?
Yeah. So I think what I'm going to suggest is when a big fog bank rolls across, Davron and King Cameron sort of go ahead, keeping to the thick part of the fog. I'll follow a short distance because obviously Davron's got his crossbow in case like things go south. Cameron's got his magic. I'll then follow up a short distance behind, sort of keeping the way out. So like if anything does spot us, I can hopefully buy them a bit of time to get to their destination, because obviously I'm just sort of working on, as a person who like led men into combat, I'm working on what is the objective in this situation that we have to get to, and our objective is to get the king to this tomb entrance with enough firepower so that he can like progress through it and deal with whatever threats are there. So I'm thinking, yeah, I'm pretty good with the sword. However, if worse comes to worse and we get like shanked before we get there, like mission failed. Whereas if we get halfway across, I get shanked, but Davron and the king still make it there, they've still got a good chance of doing it. Plus, I'm assuming Davron's not exactly the most rapid moving person, because obviously he's got little legs. So I'm like, get them to there first, I'll follow a short distance behind, and if I need to like peel off and deal with any threats, we can do that and the mission can still potentially succeed.
So I guess the question becomes to the Wheelmaster. Our overall group objective is to reach the tomb unseen. So are we going to do? Is this like as a link test? Or...
Yeah, that's. What are you guys doing? Is one of you rolling?
Well, if I'm taking point, then that means I need to be the one that's observing for enemies, threats, and the path through. So I have a fairly high observation skill at 4, so I'm willing to add that to the pile if we want to do that. I do believe Ishmael is kind of wanting to be responsible for the stealth, inconspicuous part, so he can roll for that, I guess.
So, to be fair, my inconspicuous won't actually help because that's remaining inconspicuous in a crowd. Yeah. So,
and I will say, if you guys want to take it, and it will be a longer shot than probably something else you could do. I was thinking about that. Like, yeah, we need to talk about inconspicuous because it's sort of like blending into a social setting.
Yeah, it's disappearing and becoming a face amongst the crowd rather than like stealth and hiding.
Yeah,
it's not.
But, and I stress this would be a longer shot and much more dangerous. Maybe you could try and use the fog banks, and not to feed your plan to you, but you could use the fog banks and try and be like, hey, we're just a bunch of pale ones here. Like, have enough fog between you and anyone else and just like stroll in.
Oh yeah,
my conspicuous is 4, so I mean I could probably manage something like that if we really wanted to.
Well, you've got more inconspicuous than me, to be honest. Yeah, I suggest we like pull our hoods up on our travelling cloaks, make ourselves look as generic as possible, break up our outlines since hopefully they won't be able to see us clearly, hold our faces down so they're in shadow, and we try and remain under cover of the fog, but then we've got this extra layer of like urban camouflage, for want of a better term. If we do get spotted, so someone might be like, oh yeah, there's just some like guys over there. They're not immediately going to be like, who's that guy with a glowing crown and that dwarf with his fiery crossbow of doom?
Yeah, maybe put the crowns away for now.
Yeah, I guys, you got to be honest that King Cameron, first of his name, he's not very subtle. Like, I've got a weird shadow, my eyes kind of sparkle, not in a Twilight way.
Hence the use of the fog bank, my liege, because Hopefully they won't be able to see your shadow in the fog. And if they get close enough where they're looking into your eyes, like that's probably going to be the least of our problems because they'll have realised we're
Yeah,
not
at
pale
that point
ones.
the team's up, as they say. So
At that point, it's hammer time.
doing this then, or are we just
Yes, yes, Davrin. Let's lead the way. Using your higher inconspicuous rating, I will quite happily lend you a dice of my own, though, in the service of my liege.
I'm willing to take it on the chin for the whole group if that's what we want to do. So
yeah.
So, what does the king bring to the table?
Just a sense of epicness.
A sense of decorum.
you don't have a
Just a massive pair of brass testes.
I have skills for days, son, but none of them useful.
All right, cool. So I'll just take the one then from.
I mean, I could teach them about how to talk in a court. You know, I could teach them the laws of the lands we've been through. Yeah. I could tell them about like, oh, you can take that plant and smear it across an axe, and then say these words of power, and then you might get like a nice harvest. I could do that.
I will point out, at the risk of making things more difficult for ourselves, but I'm a bit of an Arthur whore, that obviously I cough quite loudly, quite regularly.
That's true.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you, man?
Yeah.
It gets me Arthur, my liege. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Now I could summon something to help distract the pale ones.
I think you're going to say to help my cough then. I've summoned the spirit of a lozenge.
All right, cool. So
Fisherman's
I'll
friend.
take one die from over here.
Well, does the king want to do something? Do you want to summon spirits to assist in this, or maybe in a distractor capacity or something?
I kind of don't want to like spend too much time just stood around doing the summoning, because that would expose us to more risk.
You don't need to do the circle to summon. You can summon without the circle as well.
Yeah, I know. I could do that. That's true, and stuff would definitely happen.
Well, if you believe it's not wise, my liege, let us proceed with the original plan. Davrin, take the lead. I'll follow. I'll take points.
It would be fun.
Yeah, who wants that?
Now is not the time for fun, my liege. Now is the time for action.
I believe we're all at a minus to all of our tests right now. So
what we are is +1 obstacle.
So
we actually haven't rusted yet, have we?
Yeah, but
it's from the oppressive aura of the area.
Yeah, it's the oppressive dread that permeates the entire place.
So if things get tough, I've got my poet juice here.
So Cameron's not actively, tossing ghosts into this effort here. So we've got Davrin rolling.
Am I rolling? Yeah, that's all I'm trying to establish. If I'm rolling.
Yeah. So I think Davrin's rolling. Davrin's spotting the way where we need to go. So Davrin's rolling +1 from Ishmael helping, and then I'll be happy to tell you that you get +2 advantage die because of the mists.
All right.
Could I help in an alternative fashion?
Let's hear it.
Could I use my familiar to help scout for him? Like.
Yeah. You could have the familiar pitch in helping die.
I remember where it's stats.
So four total helping die then, right? Or advantage die, right?
It's got some traits. This thing, yeah, it's small, clever, keen smell, luxurious.
So what's the skills on it?
Got small creature, clever, keen smell, keen hearing, luxurious fur.
It has stealthy, so it will help with stealthy. So.
Oh, skills, yeah.
Yeah.
So I love the thought to the pale ones being like, "Oh, it's just a fox." Wait a minute, that fox is far too luxurious looking.
All right, what's the obstacle?
It's going to be a versus roll, so just roll against one.
Oh, just roll then. Okay, fair enough. Really?
Boom.
Yeah, with that was on 8 dice.
You got 6s there, man. You got 6s.
If I need them, I'll
spend a fate point.
I might just do it anyway. I might just do it anyway because we would need to succeed.
Nah.
Oh, never mind. I won't bother them. Never mind.
They rolled a couple of ones.
In
Okay.
return, the pale ones have not been to spec save.
Not sponsored, by the way.
No, it's fun.
Don't sue us.
Yeah, and that's for reals, by the way, as well, because you need to have #ad on your stream
Yeah.
if you're doing that shit. So we're not.
We're not. Mm-mm.
I just go, I am not sponsored, Diet Coke, somewhere right here.
Just for the taste of it.
Yeah.
King recommends.
You stride through the mists, sort of half being stealthy, half being okay. Everyone, try and look like you belong, and just confidently stride through the mists, and into the excavated entrance in the earth wall, and you enter. It is dark in here. You go like beyond the sight ranges of the pale ones at the bottom of the gorge, so you're good. But it is very dark.
Is there enough light to still have
Yeah.
light vision going on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for now.
I can
but,
still see. Okay.
Yeah, for now, but it's not going to last probably because you
Follow
will
up
go.
question. Traveling gear and supplies and such would have like
Mhm.
torches, lanterns, whatever in there,
It
right?
would. It
Cool.
would.
Right. So then I guess I'm lighting up then since I'm on point. So I'll have my arquebus in one hand or the my crossbow in one hand, and this is kind of like whatever lantern thing in the other. Yeah, it'll look like I've done it before. Like I have the crossbow like pop its shoulder hand on the trigger.
Davrin, do you need me to carry the lantern?
Nah, you're gonna need your sword hands in case we run into some business.
I only need one hand for the sword. Your crossbow requires two.
Oh, you fight. That's how. Okay. Well. I mean, I can shoot one-handed. I mean, I one shot with.
It's fine. If anything attacks,
toenail.
if anything attacks us at a distance, we'll need your accuracy more than we need my sword.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'll take the lantern off him, but I'm going to stay close to Davrin, so my light will illuminate where he's walking.
All right. Oh yeah, that feels much better. Right, get that tucked in there. Yeah. All right, let's go.
And we'll start making our way in.
You make your way through the dark caverns. It's just sort of mined, uneven. Like no one's trying to make like polished walls or polished like even ground. It's a mined corridor through rock and earth, and eventually, let's say, maybe 15 minutes of careful progress.
Davern heaving in disgust the entire way at the state of the place.
Yeah, it's just a hole. It's not made for being nice. It's an entryway into somewhere else. So yeah, about 15 minutes into it, you step on the first worked stone, and you realize that there's a bit of a ramp down of earth matter, maybe from whenever they punctured through here. There's like a earthy ramp down into an open area. Your lamp at this sort of the exit of the corridor does reach to the ceiling, which seems to be it's sort of like natural cave ceiling. the top of the cavern that you stand in now, it seems to open up very big, and yeah, your lantern doesn't really carry too much into it, but you can see the beginnings of there's paved paths through what looks like old dead grass, so sort of like brown gray dead grass, and there's like intricately put paving stones creating paths to go forward, and it looks for all the world like the remnants of a garden, or the beginnings of one, anyway.
Okay, as we pass this, I'm going to quickly bend down, so I just like crouch, sort of keeping a lookout, and I'm going, still holding the lantern up, crouched down, and I'm just going to pluck like a few strands of grass or vegetable matter. And since I'm fairly familiar with like herbs, plants, etc., I'm just going to sort of like rub them between my fingers and examine them in the light of the lamp, see if the types of grass and plants growing here can potentially tell me anything about the sort of terrain, anything we're potentially likely to come across in the future, or if they have any sort of like properties that might be valuable to us.
Yeah, you find some properties immediately. You pluck some of the grass and you lift it up, and you're gonna like, oh, let's break it, let's smell it, what is it like, and it basically just grinds to dust in your hand. There's no, you can make no sort of paste out of it at all. It's just some of it crumbles as you pick it up, and the rest just disintegrates as you try and rub it.
Okay, so
you've got a handful of dust now.
Is that just a case of, as far as I'm aware, is that just a case of like it's been deprived of light for too long, so it's withered and like dried up? Or does it seem like something else? Because I'm like, if there's no light, how did it grow here in the first place?
Yeah, that's the big one. Like it shouldn't, because there's no light. You know that much, just by knowing how plants work.
Aside from it, the fact that it crumbled to dust, like a visual inspection, when I picked it up and I looked at it, does it look like normal grass or normal?
Yeah, it looks like grass. It was a bit stiff when you plucked it, but it like you just sort of like yanked it because that's how you pick up grass. But it was a bit stiff, and then once you start rubbing it, like the stiffness gives away and it just breaks into dust.
Okay, when I pulled the grass out, did it have like any like roots or anything on it? And what state did they look like they're in?
No. It just snapped off at the sort of stem.
So I'm going to sort of hold up the sort of like dusty remnants on like my finger of this, on my like gloved hand of this grass, and say, my liege, this is passing strange. In a place such as this with very little light, grass shouldn't be able to grow anyway, and the way it crumbles to dust, you see, it's like something has sapped all the vitality, the life out of it. This would not happen if it had simply died normally.
Yeah, that ain't natural.
My liege, you are familiar with, as Davron said, this is not natural.
Nothing about this place is natural.
You are more familiar with sorcery than I. Is there a sorcery that could drain the life from things, maybe to increase its power? The poet did tell us that those wayward disciples of his had sort of stepped into potentially darker areas of study than he would have wished. Is this perhaps a side effect of whatever blasphemous spell weavings they've been conducting?
Certainly possible, Ishmael.
Or
For even a bright flame must consume something.
counterpoint, I mean, grass cannot really grow on the inside of a cave without light and water sources. So maybe
that's very true, Davron, but it would not simply turn to dust like this.
Well, maybe it wasn't real to begin with. I've seen some wondrous things these manling sorcerers can do. Making some grass grow when it shouldn't seems kind of basic. So, and if that didn't the poet say that one of his kin, like a sister or a brother, used to maintain this place? So if it's a demigod doing it, then I think all bets are off.
that is a good point, Davron. My liege, with your great powers, is there anything you can do to ascertain whether there is witchery afoot here?
I shall consult my sheep.
While he's consulting his sheet,
Wheelmaster, I don't think I can just detect magic. Like, I don't,
you're reading, and
There's
that made sense.
Can I
there's
read?
stuff for it, but I don't think you have any
Yeah.
of those
Can I
tools
use
currently.
sorcery as like a skill to detect things? Like,
Sorcery
Yes,
wise,
with a
like,
spell,
yeah.
you would,
okay.
and then you could use wises,
Mhm.
and what you could do actually is summon someone with the appropriate tools to assess the situation.
While he's assessing the situation, that
Mhm.
situation, Davern is inspecting any stonework architecture.
Mhm.
Basically, I want to engage my obscure history and sort of
Mhm.
kind of try to glean any information before
Mhm.
we delve deeper, because the poet was kind of scant on details. We're in the
Mhm.
Eraduath, and there's pale ones, and his
I
lost
believe the
kin's
term you're
body.
looking for, Davrin, is vague.
Yeah, he was super vague. I mean, and I didn't even get to the whole shape forming of the dwarves, the existential questions. So, but while the sorcerer king is doing his thing, I'd like to do my thing with an obscure.
The Witch King of Kaer Amaros,
Yeah,
as
there
he
you
is
go.
known.
So, all right, so I'll give
So
that.
that'd be the same thing that we did before. That'll be obstacle 6.
Right, yeah, it was a big boy, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, 1 second. I just want to check one thing. I wish that I need to really format this better. Where are you? Oh, right. It's obscure history falls under here. What are the forks for history?
Let me quickly.
Here, I'll get to it probably before
Check.
you do.
Oh, well, I
Old
have it here.
stuff.
So
Not so old stuff.
To research philosophy, doctrine, or other history skills.
yeah.
So, does anyone have who would like to help my investigation as well? Any history research?
Well, you'd be pleased to know, and I'm not saying I'm angling for the right skill, right time. However, I do have philosophy on my sheet.
Oh, you do? Wow, fantastico.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a helping die?
Philosophy of caves, in fact.
Yep. If you want to help, Davrin.
Yeah.
We were all sort of investigating, so I'll take my turn. Ishmael, do you got anything you want to throw into the pot? All right. Well, then I guess I'm doing it.
If you want to talk about what is a cave, if not a doorway to another place, then
Oh,
I'm your man.
This dude, I just realized, Matthew, I will find a way to get you rewarded for this. You're using philosophy in a dark cave where you guys are casting shadows.
That's right.
This goes deep.
Plato is in the house.
We're Plato AF.
Well, I mean, I flubbed it anyway, so.
Oh yeah, that's
a major.
So, Cameron, put whatever you. It's probably going to be a challenging dot for your philosophy.
Oh yeah.
I roll total. How many die did I roll total on that one? 5.
5. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Just need to check the damn chart.
Without light, we all wither.
Yeah.
Davin.
Unfortunately, I've already used my challenging, so
yeah.
Or I've already gained my challenging for this skill.
So
why do I keep trying to use it in like the hardest issue?
Yeah, that's the sort of balancing act where it's like, oh yeah, I've got this thing, I want to do it now, but it's researching dinosaurs. So
you keep throwing us into situations, Master. So
I just point to places on the map.
Yeah, guys, I got nothing.
So you guys follow the stonework because that's where you started, and well, basically, Cameron and Davrin and Ishmael, you follow along this garden path. You pass by the first pillar, sort of ornamental pillar, which you note not only reaches the ceiling, but is it goes into the cavern ceiling, and it's not there's not like capstone built into it. So there's like an uneven cavern ceiling like this, and the pillar goes straight in, and there's no like specific sort of capstone where the pillar meets the ceiling. So it sort of goes straight in. And You don't really have much of an idea of like exact references of what the stonework could tell you at this point, unfortunately. And yeah, it seems old. That's about it. Oh, it is made from I have it down, but where did I put it? It's from the gray blue stone, grayish blue stone, or bluish gray stone rather, because it's not really like a garish.
Wasn't there something similar about where the poet was? There was a
Yeah,
connection
was
there.
that the poet's place old Pictalon?
Same
And I
rock.
know my rocks, you
Same
know.
rock. Same rock. So you are most definitely right now in the gardens,
Belly of the beast.
and you can tell from the light that your lantern sheds that there's the garden area seems rather wide, big. There's sort of hedges, there's trees, there's columns, there's maybe a couple of sort of decorative statues as well. Think like a Roman forum when it comes to like sort of size and shape of this thing. And then put in more like garden type areas. So
in this garden that we're currently exploring, are there any plants or trees or rocks that are large enough to give us cover as we sort of like make our way across?
yeah, some of the hedges are quite tall, and some of the trees are well, we'd probably be talking like oak tree sized.
And are there multiple exits from this garden, or is it just a case of we?
It's an open area more or less, so there's freedom of movement is very great at the moment, to go almost anywhere here. It's more gardens, a lot of paths. It seems quite big.
Is there some like? Sorry, I didn't interrupt there.
Yeah, you go.
I was just going to ask: is there some parts of this structure where it's broken down a little bit, where I could like pocket a few fragments of this stone?
Yeah. There's absolutely fallen statuary and fallen columns as well. Yeah, you could get some stone bits for sure. Yeah.
Cameron will find a few nice pieces and he's going to pocket them.
You mentioned Wheelmaster the statuary. What do the statues depict?
Well, now there's
because I'm thinking, because you mentioned, and I may be wrong here, but because you mentioned like Roman forums, I'm thinking obviously they had a lot of like statues for like mythological figures and like warriors and stuff like that. I'm thinking with my campaign wise and with Davron's knowledge of obscure history, perhaps we can combine them if there's like any statues of famous warriors. I'm like, oh, this is so and so from the great battle of such and such.
Don't you also have like religious wise and stuff like that on there?
I may dabble in priest wise from time to time, Davron.
Yeah. So
I also have knowledge of doctrine.
Yes, I think any of those three probably could get you what we need, right? Like,
yeah. Whichever one we want to roll with, there's definitely an opportunity.
I'll him a helping guy in this case.
I've got a bit. My main aim in terms of this is I'm trying to sort of put this place in a historical context that Ishmael understands. So I might then be able to think like, right, okay, if we know that these people are like learned, like albeit fallen disciples, if we sort of like, we know that like, oh, this is based on an old like Roman layout, where would the most likely place if someone wanted to like have a study or a place of learning be, just so we can sort of get our bearings and strike out in a particular direction rather than just sort of like pointing in a random direction and going in that way.
It's like, oh, there's a nice shrubbery. Let's go there.
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas if we're like, oh, this is like the older buildings of such and such, and there would normally be like a great library in this sort of direction, we can sort of like make at least a slightly educated guess rather than just a full guess.
Yeah, sounds good. Which are we going with?
Okay, well, it depends mainly on what the statues are depicting, first of all.
There's animals. There's what seems mythological beings as well. There's more abstract stuff, sort of nature motifs as well. There's a couple of just persons, seems like, as well.
Okay, I suggest we probably go with your obscure history then, Davron.
Okay.
Because I don't think my my sort of like priestly and doctrine stuff relates to the flame.
Well, I'd like you to know that I have other skills now that have anything that actually involves us doing stuff that doesn't involve books. Nah. However, now we're talking about knowledge.
Yeah.
I could pull upon my knowledge of demonology, of apocalypse wise, if this is depicting some kind of apocalyptic event, or
Or any of your
prophecy.
spirit wises and things like that.
I've got the angel one, which is Emperor.
Period. Yeah.
Emperor, yeah. I could throw all those in the ring.
Yeah, which are you using to? I suppose you are helping Davron.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I'm taking the lead again. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah,
Judging-
I would like to, if I can, chip in a help dice, because you said there was a lot of plants and nature stuff.
Yeah.
So going on my herbalism
I'm
and
gonna
my knowledge of
chip-
nature.
Oh yeah, that's interesting because you can tell how that might tie into the mythos and what we're talking about here. Yeah,
I'm gonna chip in Emperor because this is mainly based on my meetings with a poet.
He did talk a lot about the Grand Celestials and how they were
Yes, he
the
did,
children of said Grand Celestials or such. So, yeah, that makes sense definitely. All right, cool.
Let our knowledge
So,
combine.
are we kicking into you then, Matthew, or are you kicking into me?
You. I mean,
Okay.
I have probably a higher obscure history, but I want you to show me what you've got.
What's your short history? Mine's
Check
4.
yourself. Show us what you're working with.
I've got obscure history of 3.
All right, so mine's higher. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
but I got it from like deep underground, and you know.
His is royal obscure history.
Right, there you go. Yeah. All right, cool.
That's right.
So, screw history, 2 helping dice. What's that difficulty, Master?
8.
Oh, come on. I just need some challenging, some routines. Why? Fine.
I didn't say anything. That was Matthew.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No, I
No.
just joked and said just picked a number at random.
What's the actual difficulty? I rolled 4 successes.
I'm thinking 5, an act that requires expertise.
Okay, so I rolled 4, but I did get a 6, so I'm gonna dump an Artha fate point on it. Oh, come on!
No, you get your thing. So there's just consequences, and
don't
you'll
mind
need to recalculate that. You've got 6 dice against an obstacle of 5. So whatever that is for your obscure.
No, I got you.
And 5 obstacle for Mr. Large,
Yeah.
and Cameron as well. Right.
I've got a roll now. Okay.
No.
No. That's you're getting experience for it.
Yeah, you
Oh,
mark
right,
the tip.
challenging.
You get experience for helping me out. Yeah.
Oh, I just
Which
need
was
one.
nice to me because that turned into a difficult. So.
I just need either one routine or one like higher level one, and I can up my herbalism.
I'm getting close on obscure history, funnily enough. I need
Guys,
three
spending
more
time in the
routines.
library is really paying off when someone
Yeah,
asks
really.
a question that doesn't involve
All these
anything
weird ruins and
physical.
creepy places we keep going to. It's filling us up.
Yeah. So
Can I? Oh, God.
your intent was to kind of like find a way forward.
But the
Like
attention I
how
don't know what I was rolling for.
how to navigate this space based
Right.
on your understanding of what the space is and who built it.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So you've sort of figured out that there's like a main path that leads through, and it's going to end at like a significant feature, probably some sort of significant building is what you pick up from this. And you haven't seen a lot of other, well, let's say, yeah, you found like the wreckage of where a building was, you think, maybe. So you find like 1.5 walls sort of destroyed and laid on the ground. You've sort of oriented yourselves, okay, this is the main path. It goes sort of that way. And eventually we're going to hit whatever the path is going towards. It's probably going to be a building of some significance. That seems like the kind of place you would probably go here if you wanted to find something, perhaps, as maybe the Pale Ones did. And you don't really have enough context to figure out who necessarily built it, but you find a bunch of symbology that you figure is probably some sort of like either like paying respects or sort of indicating allegiance to probably some sort of celestial powers, like details on individuals who are depicted in statuary, like in their clothing. Maybe you see like a very prominent like sun disk motif, and that sort of details you pick up there, which are rather different from the current day symbology currently in use. And your sort of ruminations have also led you into an area which you note, particularly Ishmael, because you're looking out for whatever plants they may be, or what sort of use plants could have been put to, because this is a garden. Usually you leverage plant life in a like a distinct way in garden environments. So you pick up that there's, from a certain point, it seems like there's, I don't have the vocabulary myself, but it's almost like the shrubbery, the hedges, some of the trees, from a certain point on, as you follow this bigger path forward, you start picking up that there's a lot of this sort of like dark red, like wine red vine that's sort of like entwined between like the innards of a hedge, peeking out from one side or the other. Maybe this vine is sort of like tightly wrapped around one of these trees that remain here.
So I'm assuming at this point, as Ishmael, that this is some sort of like parasitic like plant life, like mistletoe is on oak trees and stuff like that. So, but bear in mind, this place reeks of the foul taint of magic. I'm going to move closer, but I'll take like my little like knife out.
I'd like to help them inspect it as well, because
it
doesn't. That don't look right.
the basic plan is like using the knife, like just move a little bit of this this branch. But we're being careful because it's magic. It could be like an animated vine or something like that set as a trap.
Are we able to identify like what it might be, or its purpose, or?
But basically, the Herbalism brothers are giving it the lowdown.
We're giving it a look.
The Herbalism brothers come up with no fucking idea. But when you get close enough, you do see that there's...
Do we still get to make a roll though? Because I could do with it.
The only reason why the answer is no is because you've literally never seen this before.
Yeah,
wow. Okay, so it's completely alien.
Yeah, this is not something you're familiar with at all.
Take some samples though.
I'm planning to take a couple of like little like cuttings, I suppose. The other thing I was going to ask is, obviously we know that this looks nothing like a plant we've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
But does it look similar to a plant before? Like, what I'm trying to get at is, could I look at it and be like, oh, this looks like an ivy vine that's been altered in some way? Or is it just like, this is entirely alien? I've no fucking idea.
What could it be?
Because I'm thinking, if it's like a normal plant that's been altered by magic, if we can go like, oh, this is how it's been altered,
or at least ascertain like what it's part of the ecosystem.
yeah. Because the more we know about it, the more we know about how it's been altered, we can maybe then start to like hazard a few guesses of like what they're doing, what sort of magic it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You picked up on that already. It looks very parasitic in nature. How it exists here.
And the whole of the vine is like this blood red color. You said.
Yeah, it's like dark wine color.
I don't think we should mess about with that, there, Ishmael.
And you get close enough because you've been poking at it a little bit, and you do know that it's kind of like rose thorns. I guess it's not the like sort of big fuck off like singular spikes. It's the sort of like ridges that you would have on like rose stems. You see some of those. You didn't see them from a distance, but you get close enough. Yeah, you can see the curvature that there's definitely spiky bits.
Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is, now we've seen that, is obviously I'm wearing like thick ass like gauntlets anyway as part of my knightly armor. I'm going to try and like just with my fingers like take hold of the stem in an area where there's not any thorns, you know, between thorns.
I'm gonna like cover my face and just kind of like I'm helping them out, but I want to kind of back
get Davron to like lift the rest out of the way.
Yeah, I'm lifting it up for him, but I don't want to like I have this bad feeling about it, so I don't want.
I'm gonna try and just like cut off like a little bit of it, like a little like sprig. The idea being like, assuming that goes according to plan, my plan will then be to take my knife, like cut off the thorns on the sprig I've taken, so we don't run any risk of getting jabbed by them, or being very careful with like my herbalism knowledge, because poisonous plants. Once I've dethorned it, so like wrap it up in a bit of cloth, put it in my like herbalist kit, and then also get a bit of cloth to like put the thorns in, but I'm going to wrap that like very thickly so they don't like poke through and jab me or anything like that, thinking that potentially we can examine them like later on, or if we find some use for these thorns, maybe they might have useful properties, we don't know.
You can do all of that. You know that when you cut it, and once you start taking the thorns off as well, it will slowly start seeping a similar colored liquid / mucus.
Okay, here is where I'm about to do something potentially a little bit silly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my knife and just with the very, very end tip of the knife, I'm just going to like very quickly like just like dab it in the little pool of like goo that's formed, and then as people have done in real life for many ages, when you want to test a poisonous plant or to see if it's poisonous, you put like the tiniest amount on your lips to see if like your lips tingle or you lose feeling or anything like that. I'm just going to do that to see if there's any sort of reaction, but only like only the tiniest amount, so hopefully it won't like insta kill me.
It's like you're putting on like scorpion pepper paste on your lips. Just like like instant, just like it tingles for like half a second, and then it goes like, oh, it's on fire now.
Okay, so with my knowledge of herbalism and plants, I'm basically going to try and like make an educated guess about what I think would happen if you were to imbibe more of this substance, based on like the data I've got from like the allergy test, and based on like, or if this was other plants I know that behave similarly, what might be the effects of imbibing a lot of this this sap.
Obviously, I'm assisting him as well.
Yeah, we might have a roll here, because the alchemy got.
We've been scumming for this roll for a few minutes.
Yeah. It's just that there's because of things I've established in my notes. But now we're reaching that point where it's like, now you can do it.
We're like, please, Wheelmaster, spare a roll, Governor. Don't know why I'm doing an impression of John's son, but
You fucking dick. I'm gonna get him up as an urchin next Halloween, like one of those
oh
stupid
mate,
overalls.
if we were in a hangout and your lad popped on with a flat cap on, I would lose my shit.
He actually has one, actually.
I have as well.
I'll get him in it next time. I'll embarrass the shit out of him. Because, what else is having kids for, I guess, right?
Yeah,
So that'd be what you're on? What, herbalism?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, the king would be able to help you with alchemy here.
My liege, if you could perhaps lend us some of your magical expertise, your knowledge of the craft, so to speak.
Pick the wrong time to go off camera.
And truthfully, the king should be the one making this because the more in-depth skill for this is alchemy. But
we can fork in herbalism to that, or help him.
yeah,
with
that
Well,
would be
we'll wait for the king to get back with
Let's
us.
wait for the king to show up then. Yeah.
King shall return shortly.
The king is in the little monarch's room.
I said I'm squeezing out a royal decree.
Coming to you live.
Jesus. I forgot he has those wireless headsets that he can just wander around his house still hearing us.
So I'm browsing the herbalism list here. So if the king would roll, the alchemy would be working great.
Yep.
For herbalism, I think
We can at least help him, basically, yeah.
for sure.
I
for
really
sure.
hope it's a low difficulty though.
No, we want it.
Well, are we? Is Ishmael working with Cameron to
I'd
determine?
imagine
this?
we're all at this point inspecting these weird
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah,
lines.
I think
Yeah.
once myself and Davron have arrived at the point where we're like, oh, this is more of like an alchemical matter rather than a basic sort of botany question, we'll probably then look to our
Hey,
liege.
my liege.
I
Because
have
yeah.
some.
we know he's got the
alchemy
skills to
knowledge.
pay those alchemical bills.
It is O King, obstacle 4.
And you're gonna get 2 helping die.
Oh
between-
boy, is that 4 with the added difficulty die?
It is 5, my king.
You still get 2 bonus dice, and obviously you can't spend it
The
all.
king is too honest for his own good sometimes.
Your courtly manners do you credit, my liege.
Can I
Impeccable
fork in,
etiquette, my
can
king.
I fork in anything myself?
And I should know I've got 4 skill points in etiquette.
Can I bargain with the substance?
Okay, I got a bargain with the vine.
Alchemy.
Talk to
Does this in any way relate to either? Oh, I've got researched. Can I fork in research in this instance?
I'm looking up.
You
Is
probably
that
fork
generic
in your own
enough?
herbalism if you have herbalism.
I don't have herbalism because mainly when I worked in the tower, you see, 'cause I was kind of a big deal back then
Got
before
it,
I messed up
Oh,
my
yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah.
They would bring me the stuff.
bring
I
you
just
the
got to
stuff.
work my
I
magic.
like to think that Ishmael and Davron just assume that everyone's got herbalism.
Yeah.
Because we're
Well,
like,
it's
why
like
would you not?
the world, so we assume.
Yeah.
So, enchanting, herbalism, apothecary, munitions, poisoned.
That doesn't
You
sound
have
like anything.
enchanting. don't you?
Oh, I do have enchanted. You are correct, sir. Okay.
So you can
Yeah.
fork enchant, and then you get 2 dice. 1 from me, 1 from Davron.
I'll say, if you want to, you can fork in demonology and Imperalia as well.
You know, he says that
For no
subtly.
reason at all.
He says
It's
that
fine.
subtly, but I will. But I'm
No
100%.
Whatsoever.
If you put that option on the table, just like the bad poker player I am, I will go all in and take your bet. Right. So I've got 2 from you guys, 1 from myself. So 5 plus total, my own skill.
And you can fork
Right.
in your demonology and imperial.
Yeah, so it's 5 total plus dice because 2 from you, 1 from my own fork, or 3 from my own forking. Self fork.
Yeah,
So-
but don't forget you get your alchemy. What's your alchemy skill?
3.
So you've got 3 from that,
Yeah.
2 from me and Davron, so that's 5. Then you've got whatever your
Do I
own
put-
forks are.
Do I put any Arthur in?
You adding it all correctly, we're trying to say.
I'm gonna throw in a single point of Arthur because I'm dangerous.
So you're at 3 plus 2 is 5 plus your 2 forks,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
7. So you're at a 7 right now.
Yeah, so I've got my 3, then 5 bonus die. and
Yeah.
then my
An
Arthur.
Arthur dice, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Difficulty 5. Hold on to your butts.
And we do it. We can.
Boo.
I'm spent. What?
Oh my god, it was still so close.
I'm
With
spending my
two
fare.
sixes though, like this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
this is uncharacteristic of the king.
That is true.
Nah.
Okay, well,
So-
this thing. Do you have an alchemy toolkit, by the way?
Now, listen.
Mhm.
Now then.
Now
Whenever
listen,
you have
listen.
skills, you should always have
Right.
one.
Where's my inventory? I got one of those kits. No, I did. I salvaged it. I salvaged an alchemy kit
Did.
from Berwick's.
Barracks
Oh, you
mother.
did? That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I
Eric's
forgot
mother's
about
website.
that.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, Jesus, that was ages ago.
Yeah.
Good foresight, Manish.
What was that, the 6th session? That's like 25 sessions ago.
Yeah, Camera of the Great Force.
No, because I had
Yeah,
both on my character sheet, but I couldn't afford both, so I removed one.
Right.
Yeah, and I got one
roll
later
me,
on.
Roll me a d6. This is for did you run out of your shit? So if you roll a 1, your toolkit is out. No, you're good.
Ah.
So you've determined, like you've spent some time here now, and you've probably used the lantern to heat up some of this stuff as well in the course of things. But let's say in half an hour, the king is concluding that this stuff is the vital essence, i.e. blood, of something that has no sort of common equivalent in flora or fauna as we know them.
No
today.
worldly equal.
You think it is definitely the essence of blood because that's the that's the obstacle I gave you. Alchemy obstacle 4 is determining the qualities of the essences of blood.
So
And
to break
that
it
is
down
what this
for you.
is.
Break it down for you, Davin. This stuff, it's blood. It's blood of some creature, some powerful creature, infused with a kind of unnatural energy, unnatural vitality, which is
question. Yeah, so like, are we thinking like this is like linked into whatever like the horrible abomination these pale ones have created here? Like,
no. I think this stems from the whatever was buried here originally. That's my
yeah, but that's tied into the.
yeah.
So you remember like chicken or egg here, right? Like there had to be the dead demigod here before they could.
Yeah, so they've
Make
why
their
would-
fake
they must have
thing,
harvested
like,
some
that's
of
what
this
Pope's
stuff.
saying, like,
Yeah.
My liege, I
like-
have a further question. You've said that this is the essence of blood, some sort of
Mhm.
demonical fusion between creature and plant. I have witnessed your ability to summon such creatures.
Oh, I know where you're going with this, Ishmael. I know. I get what I see. I see the horizon that you are heading towards, and it did cross my mind.
you want to like maybe call the thing here, like whatever. this
Either
thing's
that, or could you perhaps, with your great knowledge, Malish, divine more about the precise nature of the creature? Because if it is already here, and we have but to face it, any information we could have would be of help. A war is
Like
often won before the first sword is swung, Malish.
like weaknesses, like he said.
So my advisor tells me.
Oh, you both your advisors, because remember, I'm on the team.
My understanding is that this thing, whatever the poet this is a similar being.
Yeah, it's like one of his cousins,
For lack of a better word, a
brothers.
sibling.
Yeah, like the demigod.
One of these celestials that the poet
language.
spoke of.
Yeah,
This thing is likely long past before this desecration took place.
But and forgive my ignorance, O King. I'm not as I am a simple warrior at heart. But if this creature is past, as you say, then how does its blood yet flow through the vines that wind their way through the plants and the bushes that
that
fill
was
this
the point
place?
I was trying to make. Like I think like this is like I believe, if I recall correctly, it's called blood magic, right? And it's like tied in to what the pale ones created here. Like this is what's maybe feeding that. Like, you know,
It
do you
also,
follow where I'm going with all this? Like,
yes, I see what you're saying, Devon. It also strikes me that if the pale ones and the wayward disciples of the poet have somehow yoked or imprisoned or harnessed this creature for their own ends, since I would guess this is not its natural form, but if they have somehow yoked it or bound it to their will, if we were to unbind it, at the very least, the distraction caused and the disruption to their plans might buy us the time to do what it is we need to do.
well, we are here to deal with the shade and the pale ones and all that jazz, so I suggest we do so.
Indeed, and if they, and again this is supposition on my part, but if they should have such a creature bound to their will, I would rather us not confront them and then also be faced with this creature. If we could loose its shackles, perhaps it would vent some of its frustration on those who have kept it captor, and therefore accomplish part of our aims before we even reach them. But again, this is simple guesswork. I lack the insight the two of you possess on such matters.
I take what you're saying. A certain boldness can be a great asset in a time of need. We are few and they are many.
Indeed, and this I appreciate that this is not an easy decision to make.
There are a lot of unanswered questions in this, and
Indeed,
you are right. I am uniquely qualified to do this task.
Indeed, and this will not be the last difficult decision you will have to make in your reign. It may as well, my lord, if you forgive me for speaking so frankly, begin acting directly now and attempting to seize the answers that lie within your grasp, for decisive action will be required by you in the dark days that are to come.
We got a job to do, so we better get to doing it. However we want to do it.
I could not agree more, Devon.
Yeah. The issue that I have with this idea, noble that it is we do not know what has been done. We do not know what condition the spirit will be in if we summon it.
Indeed, we do not know, Malice, you are correct.
And we can find this out.
The only way we will know is if you reach out and seize the opportunity that lies ahead of you.
Another question.
Consequences fallen upon us if I do that.
Another question. Again, your manlin magic is. I mean, I've met plenty of use types, but like we don't do that. We got our own thing. But if I understand some of the basics right, if this thing is corporealized, as in it's like a real physical thing, then it ain't a spirit, and you can't really affect it with that particular mojo, right? If I understand correctly. So, like, I think I know where Ishmael's going with this. We want to liberate whatever's been desecrated, but I think that's going to require us decorporealizing it first, if you know what I mean. You know.
Well, you're absolutely right, Davron. I was working on the assumption, and again, it may be my own ignorance, but if this creature has been summoned into a material form, as you've said, and bound, then if Cameron is able to once again summon it to where we are now, using his arts, effectively he would be undoing whatever has been done to it in the first place. And if he
does it work that way?
I don't know. I'm simply guessing. But if he were to try and summon it and to meet substantial resistance, then that would also tell us something.
My question to the Great Wheelmaster in the sky is, okay.
In the ceiling of the
if
cavern?
I did this, and I was doing some hard thinking in the background there because I knew I had thought about this, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
Does the summoning go upon what the creature, like its base nature is, right? Because this, if I understand this correctly, this would count as a level of summoning akin to the poet, which is mega powerful. However,
you lack all the information to make any of that like
Yeah.
a certainty,
blind.
but the poet did say that the Pale Ones have used the bones and blood of my sibling
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do things.
See, I'm assuming, and again, obviously from like an out-of-character perspective, you know full well that like, Ishmael is just like making a best guess because he knows nothing about
Yeah,
this.
Davern just throwing in what
The
he.
kings are making a best guess.
I'm just thinking if they've already said that basically this thing is dead, but they've used its bones, because if it's got bones and a body, it must be dead, which is how he thinks. If it's dead, we know you can summon spirits. So
That's my point, though.
If it
counts as a restless dead,
that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. If it's like a
like
demon, but it's like a demon
Right.
that's been slain, and you are now trying to summon the spirit of said demon, that might be more within your wheelhouse because obviously we know.
But then
you
I
can
don't think it
summon
counts
spirits.
still. 'Cause I think
See,
that
but
technically,
this
like,
is the
demons
thing,
are always
John.
demons.
Again, I don't know. I'm just guessing.
the Wheelmaster
Yeah.
in canon has created a situation where I summon something back from the dead, a very powerful creature. So I don't know which way this will go. I could be a restless dead. I can do restless dead.
Fire Daddy.
Cameron can do restless. He's proven it. He's got one right next to him right now. No one can see him, but he's there, right? If this is like poet level, then I probably won't be able to control whatever turns up, no matter how
You
good I
create a-
negotiate, because
I-
I'm at it's going to be like a difficulty 7 or 8 plus the already. So I'm going to have to swing
Well,
real
both
out.
in and out of character, Davern would and me are both like, well, couldn't you trap it in a circle? Which I can, of course, assist you
Yes.
with by symbol, because I'm
In
knowledgeable
theory, yes.
the symbology of it. So couldn't we just do what Ishmael said, see if it works, and then trap it, and then kind of figure out what we want to do from there? Like, if worst comes to worst, I just shoot it a lot.
I think you really misunderstand how summoning works, Davin. But
Worst
Shooting
comes,
it
I got the
sometimes will
basic
work.
notion down.
the,
I mean,
the worst comes to the worst, my liege. We withdraw rapidly and we wait for the entity, whatever it is, to spend its anger on those who are hereabouts, and again
Either way, it's the
potentially do
result.
our job for us.
Either way is a result.
if you are willing to deal with whatever comes out of that circle, then I will go along with this plan.
I
It's
swore
either
that
that or we blunder around until we run into it, and then it tries to eat us anyway.
I have already pledged that I will follow you into fire and darkness, my liege.
You take
And
that,
I've already
I
you
will
take that
stand here.
offer all the way to the bank, mate.
So,
We're with
We
you, my
are.
king.
as we say back home, here we are, here we remain. So, let's do it.
Okay, so if I try this, Wheelmaster, do I have any idea of the kind of thing that I'm actually going to summon here?
Well,
Because
the
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 game
quit-
gives you the difficulty ahead of time.
Yeah,
so,
does.
how are
so
we going to
the
break this
quip
down?
answer would be, well, do you? But that doesn't help us. So
I mean, in one state of frame of mind, this was a great being and it was killed. This is
Mhm.
just the remnants of it I'm summoning. That's a
Mhm.
restless spirit. Fine.
So there's a very sort of good, easy, admittedly inaccurate, perhaps, way of sort of extrapolating things. You know that you cannot summon the spirits of elves, dwarves. Not at
That's
all.
true.
That's just not something that you can do. You can summon the spirits of humans. That's it. So, extrapolating from that, if elves and dwarves carry like the spark of imminence in them, you're looking at a furnace of imminence. So, maybe not restless dead is what I'm saying here.
Like a period or demon.
Yeah.
So, sort of like just tracing the steps from the ghosts that you summon are all humans, basically.
Yes. Yeah.
And
yeah.
this thing's probably not going to be a human ghost.
Nope. So let's
So-
let's compromise in the middle and say sanctified dead.
Yeah, that
The king-
sounds great, because this thing seems like it was laid to rest peacefully and has not been defiled.
Look, the king's not. Look, Someone has got to negotiate, you know.
Yeah, the king is wheeling and dealing.
Either way, I'm helping you with the circle, so let me know. And
Yeah. So
Tavern will get
we're
going.
asking like which orders are we talking about? I'll be happy to let you take a stab at any one of the orders that you feel might be what you're looking for.
Oh, you would do that to me.
Obviously, I'll be keeping watch, weapon drawn while they're preparing the circle, just in case anything sneaks up.
Hey, kingliness. I
Yep.
mean, we already kind of know the poet is like a mini celestial being, which is either below or above our shaper would. Well, okay, sorry. We get to the existential stuff later. Sorry, I'm just so excited. But
Some in the shaper, don't worry.
hey, oh, never mind. We'll come back to that.
I love the fact the king's like, oh, I'm not sure about somebody in this team, and then he's like, oh, dwarven god of all, yeah.
So if we extrapolate that this thing is like the desecrated remnants of a demigod poured into like the shade of a piece of the darkness itself, then it's definitely going to be some kind of celestial demon thing, right? And if I'm understanding how your summoning works, there's like a hierarchy. There's different schools or circles of it that covering different types of entities that humans can, draw up or whatnot. So I'm just saying, stab in the dark. Maybe it's one of those, angel or demon moments, kind of thing.
I think it's a corporeal spirit or a major corporeal spirit. If it's
whatever you call it, I don't know.
If it's a minor deity, I'm in deep trouble.
I would start at minor deity and go down.
Yeah.
I hope we don't go up, because that sounds really dangerous. I like living. Just saying.
So what are we shooting for?
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just go with what I honestly think it is. It's a major corporeal spirit, which means it's difficulty 10 right now.
Major corporeal spirit is 10, now currently, because of the oppressive aura.
But we can make a circle first to help.
Yeah, but we're just sort of establishing what we make the circle for.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which probably ties into how intricate Cameron wants to make it, because of the
Well, I will assist as much as I can, of course.
Yeah. So we're
limited
shooting for
knowledge
major
of-
corporeal spirit. Now the
And let me
question
guess,
is,
the circle roll will be at a difficulty. Oh boy.
yeah, everything is. So do you have order for the major corporeal spirit? Do you have an order for that, for summoning? No. Okay.
No,
What?
wait. What?
What?
Oh no, I can't use that. Oh, that's too dangerous. Oh no. No, because I have
Do it.
I have a no, because if I do it, John, he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up and laugh at me.
I hope he
Yeah, 'cause-
does. I've never met him as Tavern, so
Because I've got a
To be fair though, if he shows up and laughs at us, who cares if it helps you succeed?
fair enough.
is the admittedly simplistic way my character's looking at it.
Yeah, because I've got a reputation with all the spirits, a 3-die bonus to all of the spirit categories because of my touched by the foxfires.
Because to be honest, if you succeed on this, because of that bonus, and then after you've summoned whatever this demon is, the foxfire spirit rocks up and basically slyly bigs you up by yes, I created you well, and monologues at you for a bit. What's the biggie?
Price to pay,
Yeah,
really,
exactly. Yeah, in the grand scheme of things,
considering what we might be facing. So
Well, in for a penny, in for a fox.
and besides,
Okay.
at least we know one thing: the foxfire spirit's obviously not a god, because gods don't exist. Hey, the poet told us that. The poet told us that.
You tell him that.
The poet was like all the true gods of exit stage left,
but the Foxfire
years and
Daddy
years ago.
if he's not one of them, he's at least an order or two down from them, which still makes him bad news.
We'll also highlight that when the foxfire spirit was brought up, the poet was like, "Oh yeah, that thing existed like way back in the day before something the poet calls the fall, but it was killed in or immediately in the aftermath of the fall.
Oh, I
so
picked up on that. I was like,
so
yeah,
that's not a thing
Yeah,
anymore.
it's not that anymore, bro.
But
Yes,
so the
we
poet
can.
was, unless the poet was lying to you, the poet doesn't know shit about what's going on with that now.
Thing is, I'm sort of like, and I'm probably wrong, I'll admit, I'm sort of operating on the idea that it's a bit like, you know, when Gandalf gets killed in Lord of the Rings, so like, you know, he gets killed and then he comes back as something different. So I'm imagining like the Foxfire is now like different to when it originally existed because it's like passed through the gates of death.
Uber Foxfire Daddy now.
I'm gonna try and
Do it.
I'm gonna try and make a 3 obstacle, now 4 obstacle circle. Because I don't want to spend too long because we'll lose daylight or we'll gain daylight depending on what we're on, and so we might get discovered. I have a cleaning area. I'm going to write this. I mean, this is like I'm going hardcore, focused King Cameron.
And I'm assisting. You get a help die from me for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I will cover you while you both work.
What's the difficulty you're using?
We're rolling against 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
Hey,
I'm
boy.
just drawing up the thing here. So for cercination, you can fork in illuminations, cartography, symbology, ritual, and appropriate wises.
I should be able to fork in Empiria, right? Though, because I know it's some kind of angelic.
Seems good. Seems good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I just argued. I just did a thing. Yeah. I argued my case.
Yeah. It's not a wise, but it is a skill that is kind of like a vice. So we'll go with that. It makes sense.
Okay. Right. I'm not using the Arthur because I'm going to need that in a minute. So difficulty 4, please work.
Yes.
There we go.
I'm spending. I'm doing. I'm doing them.
Yeah, put that in because you'll be able to do it quicker.
Ooh,
roll it again.
Nice.
It explodes. Is he going to do the Cameron?
Oh,
kind of. Half Cameron is what we call this move.
There you go.
Okay.
Not bad.
You never go full Cameron.
Never go full Cameron.
You never go.
So you are able to reduce the time it takes, which is 3 hours. You spend drawing this. You can reduce it.
Look at the crayon pack I brought with me. And also, I'm building. Also, I've got to choose either it helps me summon or it traps it, right?
And I think we're going.
Yeah,
with trap,
you
right?
choose which kind. There's the Summoner's Gate, the Prison Circle, and the Fortress Circle.
I kind of want to get the summoning up, but if I do that, everybody dies.
the problems of a king. Right. In any case, you spend a little bit over 2 hours drawing that.
Right. Okay.
It was quicker than you thought it might be because you had great help. And
so if I build the prison one, so my understanding is it then it gets like a kind of a obstacle penalty to its rolls, right?
The obstacle to draw a prison is equal to the will exponent of the spirit to be imprisoned. If the creature's will is gray shade and the imprisoning black shade, increase the obstacle by 2. Yeah, it'll be much more difficult than drawing the gate.
Right. All right, guys, it's gate time then.
Okay.
It's gonna be...
So you've got extra 3 dice from your gates. So let's paint the scene here. So we are in these gardens, which Ishmael has had a lot of time guarding. You've walked about, you've checked places, and so you've concluded that pretty much all plant life, sans the fronds of this vine, they're all kind of in the same state that you found the grass in. So you've probably once you've figured that out, you're just like a bush, get a branch off the bush and just start bending it a little bit to see what happens, and it snaps off after a while, so much basically like dry wood.
Do I think, based on the fact we know this blood vine is parasitic, does it look like the blood vine has sucked all the vitality and the jouse out of everything?
It is in the places where vitality apparently has been sapped from these other plants, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be. You don't think visually, at least, that it's maybe not responsible for it. Like it doesn't seem like it's the one that is sort of latched onto the corpses. It's sort of amidst the corpses. Maybe it helped, but you don't get the idea that it's not the noose hanging on the necks of all these other life forms. But yeah, you because you've had enough time now, it really looks to you like all of this plant life sans the vine, it's kind of being petrified. Like everything's stiff and brittle once you start, applying force to it, and very, very dead, including the trees as well.
Okay.
I did think when we came in here, and we were getting that lovely description by our wheelmaster that those statues weren't statues. That was my actual theory.
Oh, you mean like we're in some sort of like Medusa lair?
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes you don't want to know the answer.
Maybe let's summon a Medusa next.
Let's have a look. Because you know what I haven't got on my character sheet? Petrify-wise. I ain't ready to get petrified.
Well, sometimes you gotta roll a hard 6, right? So let's do it.
I ain't ready for that.
You've got 3 dice from your summoner's gaze.
Okay, boys, hold on to your hats. Do I get my 3 die bonus from my reputation? It's gonna be even better when I fail. I mean, you summoned me here.
Yeah, the thing is, like that the reputation kicks in when it matters, and you don't have all the details, but it doesn't really apply here.
It doesn't really apply. Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay.
It's still good.
Still good. But I can still throw in Emphalia though, right? Because I know that's relevant.
So let's review. I have it here because I knew I would forget, so I put it into here. So astrology, astronomy, alchemy, or reading Imperalia, demonology. No, sorry, astrology, folklore, Imperalia, and demonology. Sorry, I was looking at the sorcery list.
Oh, right. Okay, so you know what? I'm feeling crazy. I'm gonna put Emphalia in, but I'm also gonna put astrology in for the first time. I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah.
So that's a separate D6, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll roll that separate because it opens both ways.
Okay. So is that a minus?
No, it's fine. It's a null blank.
Okay. Okay, boys, hold on to your hats. So I get 3 from the thing, plus then I get 4 in total because of the Emphalia. Was I put demonology in at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all lore of the celestial spheres.
Can I use what I learned from the plants via alchemy as well as some kind of the knowledge of
added?
Because we've literally got the lifeblood of the creature.
I will say, you have a thing present here, which that's not how summoning works, but you think, according to my interpretation of what you've been saying, I think that you have a piece of the creature already here, that you're trying to summon. So you can get an extra advantage die off of that.
Yeah. That's right. So that's 6 bonus so far. You know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm pumping 3 alpha into this. I'm going to have to. And difficulty 10.
Big money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Oh, God.
Ooh.
See?
There's 1/6 though.
1/6. Can he do it? He almost did it once before.
Try it again.
There we go. There we go.
Oh, man, I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh, well, at least I get the XP for that. Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, and that was a that was a difficult one, not even a challenging.
Ah, man. Yeah. Well, I just
Okay.
tanked my alpha once more, but
Good.
here we go,
So
here
we have a grand summoning of the spirit of presumably some sort of defiled demigod.
There's literally no part of that sentence I don't like.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I said
I'm
there could be
excited to be part of this.
consequences.
Let's go.
I'm just happy to be here, guys.
I'll be like, you see, Davrin, many other people will wish they were here this day.
It's gonna be a great song.
Just wait till I have to pay the price. This is gonna be interesting.
Okay. Let me pull up some
Okay.
guidance on this. Okay, all right.
Turn to page 36 if the players are too so crazy to take this option.
So I'm just flicking to my demonic portal of death chart.
We fade to black. Do I need to make
yeah,
a
yeah.
roll?
We roll credits.
It's when Johannes just closes the burning wheel book and he's like, so that mummy game, guys.
That's been good.
How about that, mummy?
So
well, it's been lovely playing, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, that was a fun game.
If it helps, we're not the ones that defiled it. Oh no, I'm just.
If the summoner fails his test, there are 3 possible results. The GM may declare that no spirit heeds his call. The coward's way out, as I call it. That the summoner has angered his intended target, or that something unintended has heeded the call and appeared instead.
Well, either of the last 2 are.
Yeah. So the no spirit heeds your
one, because then we assume this thing wants to eat us anyway.
I really thought I was going to do it that time. I was like, I got all the dice.
Yeah, we were really stacking it there, but
yeah, but this is the big stakes game that Matthew is geared for. But this is also Matthew shooting just a little bit above his own grade. So we'll looking at a major corporeal spirit. Oh boy. So I think we're probably going to go with unintended summoning.
Have we summoned the poet? What the hell, guys?
I was like, hello.
I
fancy meeting you here. I am in fact defiled.
Jesus.
No, that doesn't happen. The GM may bring in another creature of greater or lesser strength. This is entirely the GM's call. Consult the order list if you're stuck for options. The creature is not obligated to perform a service or bargain. It may propose its own pact and price to the summoner if the GM has something in mind. Otherwise, unless it is contained by a prison circle, it may either return to whence it came or wander off into the summoner's world, causing chaos. Okay, so let me consult my.
I feel half the campaign is because of that last part there already, Hannah. So,
yeah, it is. It is. It absolutely is, because that's what the Foxfire.
He did say to me, "Oh, this is a really good idea. I'm going to run with this," and then he really did run with it. Sure, right. you could have a doppelganger. That's fine.
All right. I have a thing in mind, but I need to do a bit of speed reading here.
By the way, guys, this is like the best skill I have in the game. Like this, and the one I most commonly just blow up.
To be fair,
the record for that.
To be fair, Matthew, it's also one of the skills in the game that seems to have the most redonkulously high difficulty levels.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
At least on the regular. Like, this is just Cameron's every day.
It's like if you had like herbalism and you were like, I'm constantly failing like difficulty 3 and 4 rolls, then I'd be like,
that'd be
I'd be a bit more scathing. But when you're like rocking out with like, every roll I make like difficulty 8, 9, or 10, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. You would fail a fair few of those rolls.
Yeah, those sorcery, summoning, enchanting rolls can get dicey.
Yeah, man.
No pun intended.
I must have the record of this game of the highest dice pools that have ended in utter failure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's because myself and Davron aren't like regularly summoning gods. You know, like you're pretty much the only game in town when it comes to that.
I want to make sure you know I didn't try to summon a god, but a god may turn up.
That's fine.
I'm ready.
A god won't turn up, and I'll tell you why. Don't exist.
Got him.
That.
And there's only one god.
Got to stay on brand.
Right, if Glavia turns up right now, I'm going to be so confused, but so proud.
So you got upgraded?
Yeah, that's fine. I'll strap on my NPC pants for a bit and do Glavia.
Yeah.
So you've got... Describe to me your summoner's gate, Glarvir. Glarvir, already the spirit, it comes over me.
It comes over you.
So yeah, Cameron, please describe the circle.
So naturally, we clear the space first of this debris and things.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did a basic pattern first with my normal gear. Then I did a kind of a more intricate interwoven pattern using a kind of paste that I made from my own kit, but also mixing in some of the stonework from here to try and focus.
And perhaps some of the sap, the blood sap.
I was getting to the sap, yeah, and that's the second one. The third one, I would use some of the plant stuff as almost like the blood part of the forking in I did to form like one of the biggest, powerfulest gates I've ever used, and I was so proud of it. And Davin helped a lot, to be fair. Yeah, it has a kind of it does resemble the Foxfires, but that's just an aesthetic choice, not another. It's a kind of part. It's a recognition of that's part of who I am in the circle as well as what I'm trying to summon. So there's like a kind of a blazing eye in there.
Yeah, things always end well when there's a blazing eye involved.
Yeah. When has that ever been bad? You intone your incantations of conjuring from beyond this world, mind you. And your summoner's gate slowly starts. You know how when you strike a match, the flame sort of grows to its full potential over like a very short period of time, but it starts flickering a little bit across the summoner's gate, and it grows. The fire, the pentagram burns, guys. That's what's happening, and the flame reaches up to about 30 centimeters and stays there.
I've never seen one of these this close before.
And there's an aroma of burnt something, basically whatever was in the circle, and there is smoke. Some of it is coming from the materials of the gate, and this is not something that, Cameron, you would understand as being like compromising the gate. The gate is fine, but there's a lot more than just what the gate would produce. The smoke from the gate itself is joined by something that generates more smoke in the middle of it, and eventually there's a bunch of it billowing out. And Ishmael?
Just in case I need to say this, I'm sure I don't, but my shield and sword are drawn, and basically I'll be moving as close as I can to Cameron and Davron, with the idea that
I'm in the back in an advantageous position with my crossbow.
Well, closer to my liege, then, with the idea that if anything goes wrong as his bodyguard, I'm ready to like step in front of him with like the shield and the sword ready.
The smoke sort of whirls in the center of the circle, and you start seeing like a vague humanoid outline, which is indistinct and also partially hidden by the smoke. And there's a rumbling, sort of hissing voice that comes from the circle, and it is not something that Cameron or anyone else here understands. And then a second later, there's a perfectly flat, generic sort of Riathalan accent that drifts out of the smoke pillar in the circle, and it says, "You are meddling with things that you do not understand." And it's a perfectly, human voice.
I do get that a lot, actually, but it hasn't stopped me before.
I like Karen saying, "Shut up."
You speak true, wise spirit, great spirit, whom I do not know the name of. Please
That
forgive
seems a bit
my.
presumptuous. We don't know if it's
Please
graceful
forgive
or
my
not,
impertinence. One can only gain knowledge if they are willing to go beyond what is safe and known. I seek
And
not
what
to
are you
offend.
willing to give for knowledge? For that is your aim, is it not? You have drawn this circle in the pursuit of knowledge. Ishmael.
I seek.
Can the rest of us hear this as well?
Yeah, it's yep.
In which case, before the king even gets a chance to speak, because obviously, like, I am sort of like moving in front of him now, like ready for like the balloon to go up, and I'm gonna be like, "What would you ask, spirit?" I'm just calling it spirit because I know what it is.
Yeah. Does the king say anything more after Ishmael?
I seek aid, whether that is knowledge, or a warrior,
Action.
or guidance. I do not know.
Or like some more juju. I mean, we always like juju.
Mhm.
More juju is always good.
Do you know where you are, spirit? Do you know where I have summoned you to?
Well, yes, you have made it perfectly obvious with your circle here. What would you have of me, oh petty king?
I think that's a little insulting.
I already, dude, I already failed by 3. I mean, come on, I tried.
I have a quick interjection,
Sure.
Wheelmaster.
Oh,
So obviously, like bargaining with the spirit for things, etc., requires negotiation and such, which happens to be one of the things that I'm actually vaguely good at. But I have a question. Does that applies to Stenorius debate, doesn't it?
I mean, that is the dwarven.
That's my magical version of it.
There's a couple of things that it stands for, which I don't remember off the top of my
I'll look
head.
it up right now.
But it counts as a couple of the social skills.
It does, but persuasion is one of them. I know that. Where are you? Stenorius debate. Do I know how to spell? Clearly not. Where are you? There we go. It's a combination of haggling, oratory, and persuasion, and it is loud, boisterous, and heated, filled with vim and vigor. And the obstacle is the will of the victim. It also can be used in the duel of wits as well, if we ever needed it. So, and the only tool it requires is a big dwarvy mouth, which I happen to have. So if we're doing negotiations, hey, I'm your guy. I mean, I'm just volunteering for you.
Gavin, be very careful what you offer.
So
yeah. I mean, this is a negotiation. I'm trying to make
the spirit says, "Oh, I am mistaken. Was it you, set up the circle, and
You're a flatterer. Yeah. No, I mean I helped a little bit, but like the magic is the king of our kings here. But you know,
it would
you
seem
know,
then that
Spirit, how us deep folk work.
it would then seem that I should have words with the king here.
Oh well, I mean, but kings delegate. You understand, Spirit. You know.
Is the king delegating? The spirit says.
Up to you, Your Majesty. I would be more than glad to take on this negotiation for you.
Are you sure, Darvin? If you wish to bargain with the spirit, you have my leave to do so.
Fantastic. Spirit.
So as you're talking amongst each other, you know there's like a bit of this rubble that is everywhere here. There's a pebble that sort of lifts through the air between you, goes towards the ceiling, slowly rising.
Yeah, that ain't normal.
I'm just gonna back away a few steps, not because I'm scared, but just I don't like standing around, in one place.
I'll step up to the plate. I'll approach the circle. You know, try to look at the spirit. Now, can we see the spirit more? Or is he still sort of?
It's like a pillar of smoke with some vague humanoid shadows inside there.
My liege, do you wish me to remain by your side or move up and offer protection to Davron?
No, it's all right, Ishmael. You stay with Heinliness, and me and the spirit are gonna talk it out, right? Although normally when there's a negotiation, we look each other in the eye and all, but you spirits, I guess you do it differently. I don't know.
My liege.
Just keep a watchful eye for now, Ishmael.
Understood.
So I guess as we're about to start something here, I will quickly just lean into the king, and out of character, I'm going to say, what is our aim/intention here? Because as a group, I'll say, because then there's, Davern has got wheels, of course.
To learn what was done here, for the purpose of defeating the summoned voice.
So we want aid in defeating the Shade of Despair.
Yeah,
that's our objective.
Whether through knowledge or through it.
Sure. The particulars, my liege.
Perhaps, my liege, we should focus more on the immediate threat, the Pale Ones and the Wayward Disciples, rather than the overall arching goal.
I do believe the Shade of Despair is probably the thing that our spirit friend here may help us the most.
The head of the snake.
Yeah. Snick a snack, as the king says. So, O spirit, shall we begin our negotiations?
I am eager to hear what it is. Is it that you would desire?
Well, my kingliness here, and thus ourselves, would like a boon of aid from yourself in our pursuit of the Shade of Despair that befouls this once, I believe it was once very holy to the manlings, at the very least.
Would you perhaps be able to elaborate?
So you, O Spiritness, probably are familiar with what we might refer to as the darkness. And darkness has this three, they're called voices. Well, apparently the pale ones here were able to conjure a mini one of them through the dead body of a demigod. It's very complex and very magical in nature. And me being a simple dwarf only knows the rough shape and outline, but that's the gist. And so we're here to, the shade and save the day, yada yada. But we've been flying a wee bit blind, and
You wish to know where this shade
hey,
is
that
then?
would be a great start. Yeah, and maybe how to make the part a little easier could be good too.
And what shall I receive in return?
Well, oh spirit, I would love to hear what it is that is your price for such services. You can't negotiate in good faith without knowing what you are looking for yourself.
The spirit whips up its rule book
It's
and takes a brief.
My liege, beware, it's consulting the codex.
in the codex, my liege. It's going well. I got this. I got him on the ropes. Yes, look at the book.
It's switch rule books, Davern. Be wary.
Oh no.
I wish to have the spirit of one, and I wish for the king to carry my honorific for a time.
So we carry around, make the people remember you, so you can get, some good, press. Okay, that's cool. Well, what was the first part about spirit? You want a spirit?
I wish a spirit of immortal.
Does it have to be a currently living mortal, or
have you access to dead ones?
We got access to all kinds of things, my spirit.
Spirit next to me must be like, oh
yeah,
shit.
and the you get the impression that the sort of hazy outline of a figure in the pillar of smoke turns to look at your ghost friend.
So, I think for now, let's just be clear, O Spiritness. This is for the location of our objective and a possible way to defeat said objective.
I can give you both.
And that is the price, the spirit and the honorific.
If I may ask, wise spirit, I've called to you on this day. What
I have shrewd appraisal, so I want to know if that's a good deal or not.
It's not as unfavorable as we could have got. Someone's about to lose their soul, though.
At this point, I'm just going to butt in and I'm just going to say, so spirit, if I'm correct, in return for knowledge of the voice of deceit, help defeating it, and in the current situation, you require a spirit of a mortal. Is that correct?
Yeah. Eshman,
Yes.
It's on the sacrifice there.
But
I'll just step forward and say done.
No. Well, yeah, it's
Sealed, the voice says from the smoke.
okay. Fine. No.
Let it be
voice
so.
of the smoke, don't go anywhere yet. I have something else I'd like to discuss with you. They made their deal.
I will point out as well that when I said that, I was like, and specifically like in the current situation, to like resolve the current situation. So as far as I'm concerned, it's agreed to help you against the voice of deceit, give you a way of defeating it, and help in the current situation. That's what it said done too.
Voice of despair, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But if it should turn out that the voice of despair isn't the current situation, it's also agreed to help in the current situation. Because I was like, oh, help the voice of despair, knowledge, defeat it, and in the current situation, and it's agreed to that. So essentially, we're covered, even if it should turn out to not be the voice of despair.
I would like to know something as well, since it put me as part of the bargain. What mark would it impose upon myself as part of its?
It's like a totem you carry around like on your flags.
So smoke is whirling in a more intense ways, and the fires are starting to go down a bit. And once the smoke clears, you can see there's a human, looks like a man, kneeling on one knee in the sort of middle spot of the circle. Looks for all the world like anyone from Kaer Amoros, dressed in a fine tunic, cloak, traveling cloak, and leather gloves, and is holding in their hand a medallion, which like with a bowed head, thrusts towards the king. It's like,
Okay.
my liege.
I'm going to take the medallion off it, pass the medallion to Cameron, and then I'm literally going to like take its hand with my other hand, since I was the one who said, "Oh, done." So to sort of symbolise, yeah, Cameron's got that. There's my part of the deal, symbolised by the taking of hands.
I feel it only fair, Wise Spirit, that if I bear your mark, I should know whose mark I bear.
It is fair.
You bear the mark of Tarvalon, and you see the medallion, which is a circular shape, which has in it a triangle formed by what looks like 3 crowns. So like the points of the crowns going outward.
Sorry, what was the name of the spirit again?
I'll put the thing in the chat.
Thanks.
Tarvalon.
Do I know anything? Does that name at all sound familiar?
It sounds elvish.
Elvish. Okay.
You've been hearing a lot of that language
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
swamp
Doesn't
lately.
necessarily mean he's an elf, though.
No. Just like the poet didn't say any poetry. You know what I mean? You never know.
So as actually, there's going to be a translation here, because I should know whose mark I bear. You bear the mark of Tarvalon. I am the friend of the king.
Which king?
Well, there is but one true king, is there not?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about down here or up there?
And Tarvalon smiles and bows his head to Cameron.
All right. Hey, now that you two have gotten what you wanted, can I have a few moments with our friend Tarvalon here?
How long do I need to bear this symbol for? That is also a
for the resolution of our business here, and my good friend the king, you may have it henceforth as well. But it would do me great honor if you wore it during our journey in the dark.
As you wish. Red Spirit. Tavalon.
You can see that it takes a bit of time, and it's only because of the lantern, but the eyes are kind of reflective.
Okay. I'm gonna glance at my shadow as well.
There's eyes there as well.
I love to imagine you look at your shadow and it's like,
hey.
So, hey, Tarvalon, can I have like a quiet word real quick before you, up in smoke or whatever you spirits do?
I get the impression this creature is coming with us wherever we go.
Oh, well, but we're about to go into mortal danger. I just want to have a quiet word.
My king, apologies. Palace intrigue calls, I'm afraid. And goes to follow Davrin to the side.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak quietly to spirit. So yeah, when I left home on the back of my precious Lucia.
We can still hear you, by the way.
I'm being quiet. How can you? Oh, right.
You are not quiet,
In a
Davron.
cave.
You are many things,
You're in
but
a
quiet
cave.
is not one.
I'm gonna try to be even quieter because
We can still hear you, Davron.
Oh my god! Piss off, manlings! I'm trying to have a quiet conversation. Anyway,
He's doing a piss poor job of it, my liege.
Can you make this conversation quiet? Can you just do some spirit things so they can't hear us?
Tarvalon laughs mirthfully and says that I'm afraid that is not how it works.
Oh well, I could try, right?
I just lean at Ishmael. That's bullshit. That's exactly how it works. You just have to make the right kind of deal.
So yeah. So anyway, I was given a great responsibility. Saving the nation and all that, and apparently now I'm trying to help save the world. And yeah, I'm just a simple dwarf, and you're a very powerful spirit. And if I could perhaps have your boon of power, that would make my life a lot easier. And just you can never have enough power. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Tarvalon? Just power.
You wish to make a pact?
Yeah, that would be swell. You could do that with dwarves, right?
You lack the craft, though.
Well, I don't lack the ability to make a deal. You tell me what you're looking for, I could probably get it. You know how we dwarves work. I'd imagine no spirit in this. We were very resourceful. And our powers bend a little differently, I know, but
Have you also access to these deceased spirits that your king does?
I don't have any in my pocket, but I can I can get you some deceased things. Whatever you're looking for, you see this crossbow? I don't carry that around for fun, I shoot people. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
Good people, bad people. It depends on the day. But
Well, let us resolve our current business and see what we can come up with, shall we?
Yeah, right. I get you. You want to do one deal first, then another deal. Yeah, totally. I understand. Shrewd businessman you are, Tarvalon. Very good.
We must respect the pact.
The oaths we swear. Yes. No. We know. We know. I understand. But yeah, you and me later, right? Before you go back to wherever you go, just hook me up. Just call.
Very good. O King, shall we proceed? The shade, as you call it, lies that way.
Please guide us. Please.
Yes, please guide us.
So Tarvalon leads you through these Petrified Gardens a couple times, stops by a bush, takes some petrified berries, pops them in his mouth. And leads you further in. So Tarvalon says that the thing that you are looking for is clothed in a body of such as yours. It is not as it once was. However, it remains in substance mortal. I would propose that the quickest way, perhaps, to be rid of it is to leverage your swords.
I was going to say shoot it a lot. So, and I think I suggested it earlier too, and earlier before that. So, I'm good with the shooting.
Indeed, my sword is ready.
there is little else, I suppose, that can be said of that. If you can slay it with your sword, you will have achieved what you wish for.
Does it have any particular like weakness or like?
I would strike the flesh. There's armor also.
So shoot between the armor. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, probably can figure that out on our own. That's something an all-powerful spirit, but
remember, Spirit, you did promise us aid against it.
I have given you such.
I mean,
you will find that there are few guardians other than the shade itself. But there are some.
Perhaps you could shield us against the malaise that falls upon this place, that dampens our hearts and
yeah, show me some of that power that I want to
tries
box.
to
I mean, I
tries to
didn't say anything.
stamp out the fire within us.
Come on, Tarvalon, make us brave, make us bold.
I'm not particularly gifted in the uplifting of hearts,
No, that makes two of us. I'm glad we have something in common.
but let us try.
I never thought I'd have something in common with the major spirit.
Let's give a roll here.
I've been trying to egg on for a roll with negotiation all the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's not engaging with you on purpose.
I know, because he knows. He knows he can't go with this. You're not ready to roll with this.
Have you got a trump card, have you?
Well, yeah, I have magic. He knows that I have magic to the gabbing magic. He did its homework.
Okay, so what are your willpower stats?
Will stat is
Yeah.
4 for me.
4.
A paltry 3 for myself.
Right. So we'll do it like that and go with that. Yeah. So it takes Tarvalon a little bit to think and strides into a pitch that sounds very much like some king from the pages of history speaking to their troops, and you find your spirits uplifted by this rousing speech of the indomitable nature of the spirit within us all, and how whatever tricks the darkness pulls, the truth is it can never extinguish hope, for hope in fact does spring eternal, because it is built into it is the spirit of all of us. We are hope, and you find yourselves being uplifted, and the malaise of this entire place is gone for the moment. It's not like he's casting spells, but he's given you a pep talk for now, and you're feeling a little bit more hopeful.
Thank you, Spirit.
Yeah, Tarvalon, that was beautiful, man. That was
Indeed.
right here. Yeah.
Lead on then, that we might slay this great beast.
All right. Let me get my notes here. Okay, so you walk across the Petrified Gardens, past the trees draped in these blood red vines. The vines infest, cracks and spots here and there, like across the entire landscape here. At the end of this cavern, where your lamplight starts sort of half reaching the ceiling properly again, you find a what looks like a grand manor, which is half embedded into the earth. So think an intact bluish gray noble manor, which has been excavated from earth and stone halfway. So it's still on it for the back half of the entire manor structure. So it's like emerging from earth here because it's not being fully dug out. There's, of course, just earth everywhere, like in piles from having been carved away, I suppose. Yeah, there's a big entrance with two massive patinaed bronze doors, which are pushed open so that two people can walk side by side inside. And there's a sort of more open courtyard devoid of big trees and whatnot, like more paving stones around this part. And that's where you find yourselves in the open sort of courtyard before this grand manor structure. And Tarvalon is gesturing inside. You'll find what you seek inside.
Right. Hefting my shield and my sword. Heading in. I think it's go time.
Before Davern follows Ishmael, he kneels to the ground and takes some of the earth in his hands, rubs it against his leather gloves, picks back up his crossbow, and follows Ishmael.
Cameron, any last words? That's not what I meant to say, but that's what came out.
First test of many. This is a pale shadow of a real voice of darkness. It will be a benchmark for what is to come. We start to take back our home.
Tarvalon says, I will do what I can, but it is ultimately in your hands, for I come unarmed, holds up his empty hands, and I am not like you are. And looks to Cameron, who no doubt understands the different natures of creatures.
I like to think I'll probably nod as well, because although I don't have his great understanding, like I've had like a spirit blessing and I've seen the whole like, oh, he was incorporeal but now he's not, so I'd probably like, yeah. Let's go.
To battle.
Well, inside. So it is indeed a manor of old. As you walk through the galleries and the hallways, you find scraps of what was once here. You find maybe like the thoroughly dried and petrified remnants of a painting's frame lying against a wall on the ground in a one of these corridors. The painting, the fabric where the paint was, long gone to dust. There's remnants of furniture, largely ground to dust as well by maybe time, maybe something else. It is a ghost house, which you can tell some distant point in time it housed the sort of things that you would have in a noble's house, the wall cloths, the wonderful metal detailing on stairways and that sort of thing, which has it's all gone to dust, ground to well, non-existence really. And you don't really find a lot just by walking through. I hasten to add, there's a sort of central promenade, I guess, that you find inside the manor, which leads you to a grand sort of martial hall. Think a big dining hall, but as a sort of war room for perhaps like a lord and their like inner circle of warriors and generals and that sort of thing. It's a circular large hall. You are at the entrance looking in. There's no doors, so you can see plainly inside. There is a couple of guttering torches and like on wall sconces inside this circular grand martial hall. And there, with the light of these torches, you can see stone chairs running in parallel with the room. So there's like a circle, half circle of stone chairs, and the hall is roughly like 40 meters across. It's a circular space, like I said, and the chairs form like half circle within the circle. All of the chairs are occupied by what seem to be like ancient suits of armor, and they're all covered in ash and soot, seems like. You can't really see if there's anything inside from this distance, but there's something there propping them up, presumably, on the stairs, on the chairs. In the middle of this room, sort of very faintly lit by these torches on the wall sconces, crouches a large figure. It's surrounded by metal detritus. You can't really tell, like some bits of metal, some objects, maybe hard to tell what they are. There's broken weapons, though, you can see that. There's also ash, just like piles of it, as well as just scattered around. And looking into the room, you can feel like an impenetrable miasma of just terror, like nipping at your skin. And the figure is clad in intricate, like golden plate and chain armor, which like the flesh visible between, like there's no gambeson underneath. There's flesh that shows between the pieces of armor, and the flesh seems like parts of it seem gray in some places. Some places seem more like alabaster, like a little bit brighter white. And the texture of it in the flickering torchlight kind of looks like a little bit like stone, less so with like skin. Clutched in one hand is a long bladed staff. It's a form of like, a pole arm. So it's sort of like a long staff with a long sword-like curving blade at the end, which this bladed staff is also gold, and in the flickering torchlight, you can see a red sheen on it. On this.
You say gold?
Yes, both the armor and the weapon, but the weapon also has a red sheen on it. It's fully gold as well, like the haft and the blade, like everything's gold in the weapon.
And it's well crafted.
It is superb, I would say.
Oh well.
The figure's proportions, though, are wrong.
Hold it together, man. Hold it together.
The arms and the legs are greatly elongated and kind of thin. The torso also is kind of stretched. It's very long.
That ain't natural, guys.
And you can also see it's crouching like this, so like head, staring down at the sooty, ash-covered ground. There's also what you can see from this crouching position. There is indeed a tail, like stretching from behind it. And you think from like a rough glance in this like flickering torchlight, you think it may be like 4 meters tall if it would like stand up, like straight. But yeah, the room, other than the torches, is completely still. Nothing moves. And Ishmael.
Okay. Well, first of all, as soon as I feel this miasma of terror nipping at me, I'm going to quaff my Jesus juice.
I presume that's the
magical waters of the well.
That's the water that the poet gave you.
Yeah, because they said like, oh, it's for when you feel like your body failing. So as soon as I feel like this terror's like sapping my vitality, I'm like,
yeah, and it instantly goes away. You don't feel it at all anymore. And if yeah,
I was going to say, as I'm like quaffing it, because I'm lifting it like that, I'm going to be sort of looking around the room and using my knowledge of military campaigns and tactics, and my campaign wise, effectively, I'm taking in the surroundings of the room, because my plan is, once I finish necking this, is obviously we're going in, I'm going to be like confronting it pretty much head on and tying it up while Davron like lays down the righteous like crossbow fire on it, and hopefully Cameron backs us up with El Magico. So I'm using my campaign wise to basically look like what's the sort of most advantageous position I could take given the terrain, and how could I sort of like maneuver it when we're like engaged so that Davron and Cameron can get like the best shot at it, because I'm used to like commanding men and like taking these things into account. Archers with knights, you want your archers providing fire and not hitting your own men and stuff like that. So
yeah, so you feel like an utter serene clarity as you sort of plan this whole thing out. Like you are present like you've never been. Like the most intense like hermit monks would envy. They would murder to get where you are right now. And it's sort of like a freedom of the burdens of a sort of like human mind is like what we're talking about here now. You are free from just fear, anxiety. You're sort of like free from your hopes for what might happen. You're free to address things as they are in the moment. Yep.
Yeah. I like to think that as that happens, and as I'm sort of like throwing down this empty vial by the side of me, Ishmael like stands up a bit straighter, and his face gets like this look of like grim resolve, and maybe like Cameron and Davron see like a sort of slight flickering or like shadow of like the man he used to be before like the disease sort of like ravaged his body and he lost all of his hopes. So, like he's standing up a bit more straighter. He's like taking on like the practiced like warrior stance, but he's glancing around like taking everything in that sort of Sherlock style, when you're like looking at everything like rapidly. Like his eyes are like flickering around, taking in all the scenery. Because obviously like he's not. This is the first time he's really like bust out his sort of like campaign wise and his sort of strategic knowledge, because he's sort of like tried to leave that behind, whereas now it's almost like he's very serenely and very comfortably like sliding back into that role.
Wheelmaster, the force of despair washing over us, is that something that we can attempt to steal our way through?
Yeah, it's something you will need to once you enter the room, if you do so.
I enter. I mean, I want to enter the room to begin.
I have come this
what
far.
we've come
I
here
must
to
go
do,
a little further.
Okay, let me.
Don't have Jesus juice, so
to get like a handle on what is going on. What is Cameron doing? Ishmael is, necking the water from the well of awakening at like blizzard speed, and we've got Davron loading up his bolt, no doubt, and
I wasn't given any sick gifts, so I'm just gonna have to steal.
Oh no, you're entirely mundane.
I'm probably gonna cast a spell. It depends if I want to work on my fire thing right now, which would be hilarious.
Mhm.
I'm probably just gonna try and shard it. Or I could
Right.
do it.
So I suppose it remains to just
You
determine
still
like
have the
who-
lantern, right? So that can act as your source for the fire thing, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
Yeah.
it does. And there's torches in the
Yeah,
room.
exactly.
Yeah, because obviously I'll have passed the lantern to Cameron because I'm getting my shield and sword, so I won't be able to hold it.
cocked and loaded here. So
Mm-hmm. There's a Ishmael. Tarvalon has sort of very stealthily like crept up next to you as you're quaffing the water, and just like there's an eyebrow goes up very high as Tarvalon observes. It's like, oh my, as he watches you.
That's it. Tarvalon's judge to Kai, as far as I'm concerned.
yeah, like a young one.
Out of the spirit, oh my.
Oh,
And it's just like looks at you down it and it's like, well,
I'll give him like
The,
one of those like little like sword salutes, you know, when they like hold it up.
marvelous, says Tarvalon. Okay, so I suppose like, do we have like, is Ishmael spearheading our advance into the
I
room?
mean, yeah, I'm going in. So
Yeah.
I mean, he was going forward. I'm
I
backing
would-
him up.
I would like, if I may, to make a campaign-wise roll to see if I could give us some sort of like initial advantage, like maybe like a
Yeah, get
one-off
a-
like boost dice for like the first round or something like that.
Get a strategy.
Yeah, because like say, my main thing is I'm not looking to do extra damage on it. I'm looking to sort of work out how I can maneuver the combat. So I'm going in 1st so that Davron and Cameron can like make full use of their abilities to basically pour it onto it.
So we could do, if like depending on how you guys want to do it, we could pull off a link test as well, where we would start with Ishmael throwing campaign wise, and then we would go on to maybe Davron doing
Yeah.
just a straight up crossbow roll, and then
Yeah.
we could do Cameron's thing, or you could do it separate. I just the thought just crossed my
I'm
mind.
up for doing a link roll, yeah.
I'm doing. Yeah, me too. I'm down for it. So
Yeah. Right. Okay. So I guess the order then
we're
would be
all our
roughly-
effort is going to this one
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
moment, right?
So, and let's determine this then. What is your intent? I will put it straight on the table. If you want to have your intent be kill this thing, very hard.
That's
so,
if we just do it in the one roll, yeah.
yeah. If we want to do it in one roll, very difficult.
So then our initial gambit then should be to weaken its defenses, basically.
It's a good
Yeah,
one.
to basically get it in an advantageous position so that when we
So then
do,
our final strikes can go in.
yeah, when we do bring the hammer down, it strikes with maximum efficiency and force.
Yep.
So
All
then
right.
I'm gonna have a different pitch for my part of the link test when we get to it then. But oh wait, I guess it is to me then.
Well, so Ishmael is going to roll for the campaign wise, where Ishmael is sort of like, okay,
He's
so
leading
this
the
is
charge, right?
this is how you fight inside buildings. Is Ishmael's pitch.
Yeah, urban combat's probably really in his forte too. So
Indeed.
And I'm gonna say that's like a 2.
Can you fork things into wises? I can't remember.
If you have appropriate other wises.
Okay, well, bit of a reach. Feel free to say no. Obviously, I'm sort of trained in like knightly etiquette, which involve there's probably a lot of like 1-to-1 dueling and such like. In that, I'm effectively trying to work out how I can duel this thing 1-to-1 in the best way. So can I fork that in?
I feel like that would be like that's a great thing, but that's it sounds like a different approach than we're doing.
That's fine. I knew it was a reach.
Wasn't
So.
a pitch, though.
Yeah. And like, do we want to do that? That's also a thing we could do if we all want to. Just like send Ishmael in. Ishmael's gonna do the whole like bang on the shield and be like, okay, let's do
Come at me, bro.
mano a mano. Is that something we want to do, or do we want to do the kick in the door and?
Yeah, I think the plan is that I'm going to engage it, and then while it's occupied with me, Cameron's going to make with the magic, Davron's going to make with the crossbows, and we're going to take it down together. Yeah,
so is that because in my mind, because we were setting up, so this was going to be setting up for like a coup de grace a little bit later down the line, the test. So in my mind, my thought process was, well, okay, so Ishmael is tactically directing us, right?
Yeah.
And setting up the situation. What I wanted to do was to contribute was to use Stenorius debate, and I wanted to essentially use persuasion / oratory to taunt this thing, to get it riled up, to get it out of position, adding to the whole we're going to drag it into a place where we want and then bring that hammer down kind of a thing. And then however the king wants to like follow that up. But that was going to be my part of it.
And we'll have the miasma of terror is going to be a thing that might throw wrenches into the works. Sure. But let's deal with that when we get there. So Ishmael,
campaign wise, difficulty 2.
You're good to go. Obstacle 2 for figuring out your strat.
Okay, I'm going to spend the persona because of course I am. Base obstacle 2.
Yes.
4 successes.
Great way to start.
And so what you're doing is you're giving an extra die to the next roller,
right?
Which is Davron. We are going to be hit with a steel roll immediately.
Sure. That's
when you get into the presence of this.
Yeah.
So
tell me the difficulty.
The difficulty is let me open up your sheet.
Hesitation. So
it is your hesitation,
6.
which is base 6, which the way that this miasma works is you add the shade's will exponent as a bonus obstacle to it.
Okay, got it.
And let me open up that sheet.
So real dick move, but
yeah, it's it's in the name.
Yep. Yeah.
So that'd be 12.
Damn.
Okay. All right. Yeah. No. Fine. I mean, steel's gray shaded for me. It's not too bad. We'll see what happens. I'm just gonna roll it raw though. I think because I need my one persona that I have to my name. So 12. 12 total, right?
Yeah.
Does he get the extra dice for this, or?
Not for this specifically.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got to redo that. It allows you to have 2 separate, and then I need to add another 6 to it, don't I?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
You've got a 6, but
yeah, I'm not even gonna.
I mean, I'm there for it, mate. I'm there for it. If you wanna do.
So it's difficulty of yeah. All right. Well, fine, whatever.
Which again, it's actually it's already rolled it. So if you wanted to spend a fate, you could get an extra die on it. But
yet I'm gonna save it because I'm gonna need it for other things.
Yeah.
So my difficulties are about to go up through the roof, probably.
Right. So Davron has a few options now. You've got your degree of failure is 10, so this is going to take a bit. But Davron can choose from the following options as soon as I find it here.
Is this the one where it's like collapse, poop yourself, and run away?
Yeah. You choose your reaction to what's going on. So Davron can choose from stand and drool. So basically you gasp and stand your ground, mouth hanging open. So this is your like stunned to oblivion. Fall prone and beg for mercy. This is you you drop whatever you're doing and holding and you beg for mercy. Run screaming. You also like drop whatever you're doing and holding. You run the fuck away screaming.
Mm-hmm.
and swoon. You pitch backwards and lose consciousness.
I fear the vapors have taken me.
How long does all this last for?
It's for like it's
10 minutes
depending
per
on your
failure.
degree of failure, which is currently 10. So we don't have like a
Yeah, right,
very
right. But
accurate thing, but generally this would be like 10 heartbeats, quote unquote. So
like
some time.
10 to 20 seconds at least, right?
Yeah.
Actually, no, heartbeats, what
So,
a beat per minute. So.
The other way of looking at it is like 10 things can happen before you get, but it's like we're not working with those metrics, but that's sort of
Right.
like what we're.
So I guess I'm not doing anything for the link test.
Yeah, which is yeah, exactly. So Davern's about to go like, listen here, mister. and,
Well, just one thing I need to look at before we make a decision.
Got something?
Well, I'm just wondering what's my. It wouldn't make any difference there. I don't think it's too much of a margin. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna just kind of be like, and then just me my crossroad like this.
Yeah, Davern is frozen by the well, frankly, unnatural nature of the thing on display.
Steel is not a bad staff for me. Gray shaded and all that jazz.
Yeah,
not good enough.
No, but this is a well,
demigodish type being, right?
Yeah, we'll be happy to also recognize and point out at this point is this is not going to be an ongoing thing. This is Davern getting absolutely struck by this, but you're not going to be doing.
No, I'll come out of it.
Time.
Yeah, then I'll be able to make my actions again.
Yeah. So Davern's stood there. So the next guy in the link is Cameron. What are you doing?
Cameron, first of his name, he's going to stride forward because he's now got a kingdom to represent and he's here to stop the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going in that room.
All right.
Oh boy.
So we're looking at, what are we looking at here?
I'll be glad to remind you that I do have the fearless trait.
Yeah, which is great. You'll get some. Oh, it lowers your hesitation, doesn't it? Do we have the details on your sheet?
Yeah. Which is hesitation, pain, fear, and shock, or death by 3.
Cool. So your obstacle is 9.
9. Yeah, I can do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
My base is 6, so it's just a steel test, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't have any advantages. Does being king give me an advantage?
No.
But the medallion?
You give yourself a pep talk. You're just like, come on, Cameron. Come on, you can do it.
Come on, Cameron. Get it together. Get it together.
Kind of like slapping yourself. It's like, come on, buddy.
You can do this, Cameron. You don't need no crown. Come on. Head in the game.
Mate, I'm probably still gonna fail, but here we go. No? Why didn't it roll it? Oh. How odd. I have to put the conditional orb things in. Is that one of the things that I miss? Steel test. No advantages. No Arthur. Hesitation orb.
Hesitation is 6. Additional is 6 also. Sorry, hesitation is 3 because of your fearless thing.
Right. Okay, steel. Boom. Hesitation orb. Yeah. That can't be right.
Yeah, and it is not. However, you are on 3, and if you would like to try and get 6 more, you can spend a fate to get an additional die.
I mean, why not?
You need to roll 6 6s, which is what we like here.
Nah. Start getting
He's
excited.
not loving it.
So, which one of these options that we outlined before would Cameron pick for 6 heartbeats, quote unquote.
I think I'm gonna drop to my knees. I think, and start pleading as I have
Beg
a
for
moment.
mercy. Yeah.
I start channeling the dark part of the Cameron verse and be like, "Oh, it's all gonna end in fire and blood. It's all for naught."
Yeah, you were a fool to come here at all. Also, let us put a couple dots here. In this dark moment for the king,
I don't
we
get out of bed for
contemplate
less than 9
the
hesitation.
darkness. So, what has the king been up to thus far? We have discovered a marked item.
Did I?
Yes.
Medallion.
You too saw the and this is good knowledge for us. But no one else really, not the characters. The bladed staff is a marked item, which is to say it is somehow maybe cursed, or it has some other aspects to it, which Cameron, being touched by the darkness, Cameron is affected by the mere witnessing of these things. So that is let's see. Okay, that's challenging for Cameron, and Cameron also gets another challenging, which doesn't change anything because you only need one to advance. But Cameron has this session Cameron has 2 dots of challenging corruption because of what you've done so far. Okay, good. So Ishmael, you stride in. Your plan. You know what you're doing, but it seems like you're...
I'm looking on the bright side. I'm hoping that since no one else has managed anything, I maybe get that bonus dice.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. Like I wanted to go to the next one rolling in this, ridiculous thing, and we're just not rolling. So you do yours.
I'm just gonna hit, kick back, put the legs up.
You stride into the room. You see these stone chairs with the ancient armors. Now that you're a little bit closer, you can see that the suit-covered armors. There's like skeletons inside, and when you stride into the room, the figure in the middle of it starts to slowly rise with its unnaturally long torso and limbs stretching out a bit as it rears up.
Before it finishes rearing up, my plan is to basically run in and do like the Sparta jump attack. So I'm basically coming down on it with all my weight of my armor, etc., and basically don't give it a chance to fully get ready and do its position and whatever.
Yep. Right. So
fleshy bits. I would say if I
you roll your thing, it will resist. So it's going to be an opposed roll. You roll against obstacle.
I'm going in with my sword.
Yeah.
Unsurprisingly.
Because you don't give it enough time, it's not going to use the pole arm as it would.
That's what I was hoping.
So it's going to instead use a savage attack, which is
nice.
The claws.
Yeah, man. Okay. So I'm going in with my sword. I've spent an Arthur. I get 1 advantage dice for the planning.
Yep.
Arthur rolling against base obstacle 1 because it's opposed.
Yep.
That's 3 successes. No 6s, but...
Oh, come on.
It's out of 4.
That's fine.
So, we didn't really... so your intent was, like, get the wound in, like, get the stab in the neck or the back or the upper torso.
Not necessarily to kill it, because I know that I wouldn't kill it with, like, 1 roll. My plan is... Because I know that those 2 guys are like... And Cameron's like, oh, please don't kill me. I beg of you, please don't kill me. My plan is basically to... Really, all I'm looking to do is, like, tie it up until they've got time to recover and they can join the fray. Because I'm thinking realistic. I mean, if I get an opportunity to like shank it, I probably will do. But realistically, I'm probably not going to take it on my own. That's why we went for the original plan. So I'm like, right, I need to tie it up long enough for those guys to recover. Because I've been in the position of like, I've seen something and I'm drooling and I can't quite process it. And I know it takes you a little bit of time to recover. I'm like, Davron's probably going to get it together fairly quickly because he's like, he's quite resilient. Like Cameron, obviously, is my king. I've got faith in him. So I'm like, all I need to do is buy them the time to like.
Time. So Yeah, you definitely get the attention of the Shadow of Despair, which this creature, clad in plates of golden armor, which you're getting closer so you can see a little bit more of the intricate detail. There's um, it's a lot of like abstract sort of like swirly thing, which sort of at parts it sort of transitions into like there's like a classic sort of like almost like Pictish swirly thing, which transitions into like a snake head at the end of the
Nice.
swirl, and there's also like droplet imagery here and there that you can see. So there are these plates, very ornate. Some bits underneath are covered with similarly just like golden chainmail, seems like, but there's like large parts where, like Ishmael being a soldiery type, you would know to cover those up with like at least cloth armor.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for example, here at the elbow, it's nothing. So it's just a bracer from here and maybe some chain up here, but the entire elbow just not armored at
Yeah,
all.
so obviously while I'm like fighting it, I'll be noting that, and I'm thinking like, oh, when those two recover and I hear them recovering, I can maybe like shout to Davron like where to aim for, sort of thing.
Yep. So you come in with the leap. You put the sword in the neck because there's no gorget. So you put the sword in the neck, and there's like a otherworldly screech from this large creature, which it jerks up fast, and as a result of your loss here, you get the sword stuck in. You did a good jab to it. It hurts it. However, it rears up and your sword goes with it, and you're there with your shield going.
So I've got a knife in my belt.
Yeah, and also, well, there's as have been mentioned before.
Yeah, weapons lying around.
There's some detritus here. Also, there's the knights on the stone chairs. So your weapon goes up, and this as it goes, and you're stood there bringing up your shield as this Shadow of Despair grasps the bladed staff and starts bringing it up. You note from behind it, you can see because it's fairly tall now, because it's rearing up to its full height, like somewhere between 3 and 4 meters. Behind it, you can see, what do you think? Oh yeah, that'll be the blood coming down from the back, because that's where the sword is now. There's something that does come down, which it looks like a rather viscous blood. However, it's on fire, and it comes down sort of like liquid napalm type substance, comes down, like splatters behind it, and the fire as well is it's not your regular sort of like red, orange, yellow sort of fire. It is a sort of muted pale golden flame, which is mixed with just straight up black flames. So there's like two-tone fire coming down from the blood that streams down this thing's back now, and is coating the ground behind it as it rears up and is getting ready to smack you down. And I think maybe, depending on how we're feeling, we can leave it there for tonight, as we're about to throw down for reals with the Shadow of Despair, unless y'all want to go a few more steps forward. But I'm just trying to be conscious of the time here.
Either way.
I could do either way. I do have work in the morning, but I could go a little further.
Well, we can certainly go a little bit further.
Yeah, I can go a little bit longer.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Just wanted to check, because I never keep track of time. Terrible.
Yeah. I would like to see if we can down this thing tonight, or
well,
it's gonna be a whole week of waiting.
Let's see where we go. So your companions pleading for mercy and or stood there in awe. I was like, oh boy.
Shit.
The Shadow of Despair will bring the polearm upon thee, with the intent of driving you the shit away.
That's
from
fine.
here.
My react. Obviously, I'm holding my shield. I've not got my sword anymore. My reaction is going to be, as it brings it up, quickly glance to either side, see if I can see like a weapon that's within, like if I rolled, is within distance for me to grab. Then my plan will be to like roll to one side with the shield to avoid its blow, and then quickly like grab the weapon so I'm ready to like go.
Right. So, give me what can we roll here? Give me a perception roll of of 2 to find something you can use as a proper weapon. If you just want some junk, you can just have that because that's.
No, I found it. Unless I've got a 6. No, I haven't.
Ooh, no 6s either. So you can definitely see a hammer.
Okay.
But it's just too far. Like you know that you can't make it there in time.
In which case, my reaction is going to change slightly because as I look around and I'm like, I can't make it there. What I'm going to do is presumably when it swings this thing down, it's going to have to like bend over to like.
Yeah, it'll definitely lean forward at least.
So my plan is going to be to basically, as it does that, try and dodge by like leaping up and then like grab hold of my sword and basically like wrench it downwards and out of it.
Sounds wonderful. So, what is that even? That's speed. That's like a speed roll because speed is your sort of, unless you have like brawling or something.
I was going to suggest either power or agility because I'm trying to like leap up and.
Yeah. We could go with power. Sounds cool.
Unless brawling's applicable.
Yeah, I mean brawling's good.
All right, I go with brawl then.
It also spares you. It spares you the disadvantage of going with a stat. So, so you're trying to brawl to get to your sword, and it's trying to polearm you with the intent of like flinging you almost like out of the mansion.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. So I presume we're doing an opposed roll again.
Yeah, opposed obstacle 1 once again.
Only 2, unless I've got any 6s.
Let's see what happens.
I think I'm getting punted, guys.
4. Yep. So, what happens is, you're sort of pushing it, parrying a little bit. You're trying to get at the handle of your sword, and what happens is it, jumps back, using deftly its tail to sort of as a third leg almost to catch itself with that, and then it does it uses it then as a sort of like spring and like just lunges forward lightning speed and like impales you with the pole arm, which it goes in, and you're like you prepared for it. It's like, okay, this is it, here we go, and it goes in and it just does nothing, and it retrieves it.
Boy.
It retrieves it, seemingly not really like it's not cogitating the fact that you weren't impaled to death. Instead, it just goes on to the next thing.
I was like, you forgot about my spirit blessing. which
is it rushes you and sort of does it's basically it's slapping you as a result, and Ishmael goes flying out of the central martial hall above Davron and Cameron's heads, and just like sprawls out somewhere like way behind you in the hallway. There's a awful rattle because Ishmael's all like armored up and the shield is strapped to his arm, I presume, so it's like clattering all across the walls, and the it's you feel like you got run over by a number of horses. It's not great, but you're there now, somewhere behind Davron and Cameron. So let's see. I think maybe we'll have like one more thing, and then we'll have Cameron shake off this thing, and then we'll have next time we'll have Davron shake off the thing, because Davron's got like 10, which is a absolutely long time.
Okay, well, Well, my plan once I get up, obviously how long that takes, will be basically to rush back in, grabbing one of the weapons off these bodies as I rush past, and then sort of head between Davron and the king to like wail back in.
So you, and you do. So you grab like an axe off of one of these, and
if I can I grab a sword?
Well, let's roll scavenging, shall we? That seems like the thing. Like that's literally the skill to loot stuff.
I'm going to see if I can make a long play to see if I can use my back alley wise, because I'm used to scrubbing around in back alleys and finding trash. I know this isn't technically an alley, but
I'm going to say you could.
I mean, I don't think it's really going to matter with the way my rolls are going, but
yeah, you don't have scavenging, do you?
No, I've got beggarly back alley wise.
You know what? Let's go with, because we started down that road. Let's go with the perception.
Okay, cool.
Because we did that before as well. So yeah, obstacle 2. To grab your weapon.
2 successes.
Yeah. So you grab a sword. You head back in. Let's see. So this takes you some time to hoof it back in.
Yeah.
It is. It has a advance towards you, which is to say, it's right in front of Cameron and Davron, and it lowers the pole arm to just like slides it down, and the blade of it.
I was going to say,
it wouldn't do that.
My plan is when I get up to it again, is I'm literally like, when it lowers its pole arm, I'm going to actually rush directly onto the pole arm, because I know it can't hurt me. So I'm just going to rush onto it with it in the sort of Uruk-hai from Lord of the Rings style, rush onto it, so I can like really get in close with the sword.
Right, well, Ishmael's running into the pole arm. The Shadow of Despair retrieves it from Ishmael and holds out one of its hands. It's not armored at all on the hand part of it, and just like slices it across its own palm. Immediately, you can see this blood, which immediately ignites as it's exposed to air, and starts dripping this like pale gold and black fire, spewing blood, and the blade of the bladed staff as well is now coated in this. It is also on fire.
Nice. I see what he's
done. And it intones something in the worst sounds that you've ever heard. You want to vomit up your trail rations on the spot, but you don't. But it just feels revolting what's happening for reasons beyond your understanding. It's magical.
Far, man, I vomit 3 times every day before breakfast.
Yeah, it's like, get on my level. So what it is doing is it is going to cast a ritual of the night, which is to say, I'm going to make a roll. That's the one thing.
Really bad juju. So.
Yeah, it's the bad kind of juju indeed.
As soon as it starts like intoning, I want to try and chop its hand off, because I don't know much about Wizwazery, but it involves like waving your hands about. So I've gathered. So.
Yeah. Well, it is. What are we doing here? I think because you're trying to get in the way of it.
Yeah.
The magic of it.
Well,
so
I'm just trying to chop its arm off.
Yeah, you're gonna get with the sword. So roll that obstacle 1.
Okay.
And
like I say, I think given my rolls, it's not gonna make a great deal of difference, but. 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, let's see what happens here then.
Last persona spent.
So it is going to try and be quicker and sort of sort of not be there to be
Makes
hit on.
sense.
So it's rolling its speed, which is a stat, so it's at a disadvantage because you're doing a skill. So here we go. It's got a couple of 6s, so it will use one of its fate points to
I was going to
reroll
say,
those.
did that automatically like double the obstacle?
It did not, but I'm doubling it
All
in
right.
my head.
Yeah, fair play. Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this bit, how it works.
yeah, it is. It is. There's like a couple of ways you could do it. Even like this isn't just the way.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it this way. So you're at 6 effectively,
Okay, cool.
and it's trying to get on your level. Maybe it will. It's on 5. Let's see if it. Oh boy!
Oh shit, son.
Okay, interesting.
Draw.
So it's okay. I propose we go for strength next, which is to say, like you've got your swing in there. You're trying to push it in, and it's trying to push your hand away. How's that?
Yeah, that's one.
Okay, so obstacle 1, power.
Power, okay.
I'm on a 3.
I'm on a 2.
Okay.
No 6s.
So it flings your arm to the side and finishes spewing this foul sorcery, and makes the roll and sees if it succeeds. So it's gonna be the one thing that I didn't note about this was the god dang obstacle, which I should have. There we go. Yeah, 3. So here we go. Yeah, it did it. So it a gloom already in this darkened ruin of a mansion. It deepened. So you can still see the torches. However, you can just see the fire. There's no light shed of it at all, which is to say everything's +1 difficulty for darkness. Yeah, Ishmael.
Can we still see the burny creature blood?
Yes, you can see that as well, though no light. It's just the
No,
fire
I'm just
that you
thinking,
can
because if it's still got like burny blood dripping from its back,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what I'm going to aim for.
see. Yeah.
Whenever Davern snaps out of it, does that affect the low light vision?
Yes, because this isn't natural
This
darkness.
is magic, right? Okay.
Yeah, this is magical
That's what I
darkness.
thought. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Cameron, you are welcome back to this situation where you think
Fuckery that we're dealing with. Yeah.
it sounds like Ishmael is maybe like boxing next to you. It sounds like he's going to town.
I'm gonna do something very unwise, very very unwise.
Mhm.
But
You can also see like these patches of pale golden fire on the ground for some reason.
Aim for the fire with the sword sticking out of it.
Can I use the fire spell against it? Is that gonna work? If it's
The wording of it says you can explode a source of fire.
Any flame, right? So yeah.
I mean, it would be rude not
Let's
to.
go.
Literally read the fire right now. So.
Let's go.
Do it.
Now, my understanding from our discussion previously is the difficulty reduces every time obstacle reduces every time I cast it. I cast it once, so I
It'd
think
be
I'm
6
at
now.
6. I
Mhm.
don't get the penalty because my friend sang a song and removed the malaise in this
Mhm.
area.
But you have +1 because of the unnatural darkness here now.
Oh. Well,
We're back to 7. But
it takes
so
It's fine.
you're trying to, what are you trying to explode? The blood on the ground or the blood on the shadow of despair?
the blood on the shadow of despair.
Okay.
I
on
ain't
the
messing
back.
around. I ain't messing around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't messing around. Okay. So I just make a sorcery roll, which I can do, right?
Yeah, that's your thing, quite literally.
Can I fuck anything into this?
Yes, the answer is yes. Let me
Yes,
get the
I
thing
had
for
the
you.
thing a second ago, but I've lost it. Haven't
Yeah,
I?
so astrology, astronomy, alchemy, aura reading, Emperelia, demonology. Boom.
I'm gonna put alchemy in there. Demonology, maybe.
Yeah,
And
seems good.
and can I do all three again?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
Okay. I'm gonna do that because
Mhm.
I really want this to work.
Maybe throw in a cheeky Arthur if you've got any.
I've got a bit left. I'm gonna throw in 2 because the well is running dry. Difficulty 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Come to Papa. Oh, come on. Two
If you want,
sixes
you can
though.
spend an Artha to get an additional die. If you're feeling lucky.
Arthur to get an additional die.
Yeah, because you already re-rolled your 6s there, because this is open-ended. So
Yeah.
if you want to put a fate in, you get an extra die.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna put a fate. You said Arthur, so you meant fate.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, no. Well, Artha, everything's
Okay.
Artha, but fate is the thing that I meant to say. That is a negatory. So,
Well,
you can mark it down though, like you did it. You
I'm
did the
gonna
thing.
do it again if this keeps going.
Does this mean you get to reach for your favourite table, Johannes?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. This
Nice.
is what
Make
I've been
me
waiting for
immune to-
since I gave you that glove.
Make me immune to demon fire. That would be really helpful right now.
Yeah, no.
Alright.
So, you give us a fort roll.
Yeah, no problem.
With
Difficulty 7.
yeah. Well, no. The spells. Yeah, because it's the spells obstacle. I'm kind of leaning towards 2. I think that's what we did last time too. So let's go with a 2. Because
Okay.
that's the spells obstacle. This is you learning it, which is
Okay.
2 different things.
Appreciate that.
Yep,
Ooh.
you're fine. And then give us a d6.
Right. Mm. 4.
Harmless dissipation.
So I don't explode it.
No. Your magic is swallowed by the unnatural darkness here present.
Right. That's unfortunate.
Right.
That is unfortunate. Okay.
So for its next trick, the voice, the shadow of despair is going to. It's going to spin the blade staff in a spinning attack, wide arcs, trying to just swipe at all of you because it presumes that you're going to be stunned in the dark, more or less. So what are we doing to resist? I think Davrin's good to come up during this. It was like,
my bad. Okay. Hi.
So
Whoa.
it's going to try and chop at all of you with just wide sweeping
Swipe.
arcs.
Okay.
I do have a question as well, but
Mhm.
these guys first. So.
Okay, well...
No.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, do you want to go, like, individual? Do you want to do a group thing, like help one of you?
I was going to suggest what I'd like to do is as it swings it round, I'm just going to try and, like, with putting all my body weight behind my shield, like, take the full weight of the blow on the shield so that hopefully it doesn't hit Cameron and Davron, so then they can do, like, their thing, and I'll just literally be focusing on, like trying to parry it with my shield.
Right, that sounds good.
I have an idea as well from when it's my turn.
I think that sounds like you're. Oh, you would be doing like strength, basically, like just trying to lock it down.
I was going to suggest
blades
armor training.
which is not a skill we roll. And
Of course
As long
not.
as you have armor.
I recognize this is the thing. It's in the skill lists.
Yeah, I've
which
just
is
seen
what-
the asterisk next to it and remember.
Yeah.
A bit of a weird one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. I'll
Yeah.
go with whatever ability you
Yeah.
think's applicable. Or power or whatever.
Yeah,
or-
powers.
Or fort, because I'm just trying to resist it.
Yeah, Forge is good. Forge is good. Yeah, like tenacity, like pushing.
Yeah, just trying to
I
like,
like
hold on to it like.
that. Yeah, so let's go. Obstacle 1, because it's a versus thing.
Okay.
I'm on a 4.
I'm on 5.
You're on a 5. So it smashes the blade staff.
Can I spend it? I've got 4 6s. Can I spend fate?
Yeah, absolutely you can. 4 6s?
That's right.
What is this madness?
So if I spend 2 fate, could I re-roll all of them?
No,
You
it's
can
one
only spend
fate
one.
roll.
You can spend 1 and you'll get all of it.
All
right,
with
sweet.
a 1.
Yeah, you roll 4. Yeah.
All right, lovely.
Massive, basically, if you get them all.
Oh, that's 2 successes and another 6.
Two more.
Yeah.
2 more.
No, so
Odin's so sweet.
7 successes. I'll take that.
I'll take it. Yeah.
So it smashes the blade staff into your shield. It kind of wrecks the shit out of your shield.
Yeah, I
but
was sort of expecting
it's in
that.
there now, and your shield, in addition to being basically impaled by this weapon now, is being smeared with the fire blood now, and it is coating the shield now.
I imagine
and,
it's getting right warm.
yeah, it's going to be very warm in a hot minute, and but you've got it there for now. So
I
that's
imagine I'm doing the
great.
bit when I'm gritting my teeth and I'm sort of looking backwards as like the flamey blood splattering over. I'm like, whatever you're gonna do it quickly.
Good. Who's next? You are gonna be swept at, but it
So,
is no longer the case.
2 things. Well, so I have a trait
Mm.
that could come into play here.
Mhm,
Quick step.
mhm.
So anything it's maneuvering, hustling, escaping, maneuvering. It's a call-on trait,
Mhm.
which, if I'm not mistaken, it allows for rerolls. We asked
Yep.
this last time. I forget.
Yeah. So in the specific situations outlined by the trait, you can either break a tie in your favor or re-roll your failed dice on a thing.
Okay. So I want you to tell me which is more possible in our current circumstance.
Mhm.
I either want to use my speed/quick step call on to just dodge and not get
Mhm.
hit, or more sassy. I want to take my crossbow and I want to collapse the roof of this building
Mhm.
on top of the creature.
Mhm. Both of these
That's what I
sound-
really want to do. But
Both of these sound great and applicable to the situations that you would use them in. However, you're no longer getting struck by anything, so you're free to.
oh,
do
right.
what you-
So I
'cause,
don't even have to.
Yeah,
right,
the blade
I'm sorry,
staff is
he
destroying
rolls
the
so
shield
epic.
currently.
Got it. Right.
So
then
you,
I
you
just
can
gonna
go
collapse
for
the
the.
building on this
Yeah,
thing.
you can just go for the ceiling.
I'm just
yeah.
going for the ceiling then.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use my crossbow to do that.
Mhm.
That's my intention. I don't believe there's any forkins for a crossbow.
Yeah, like architecture wise, or straight up architecture, or like siege engineering.
Yeah, right. Yeah, something like appropriate wise would do it, right?
Yeah.
Which I don't really have at the moment, so we're just gonna do it. Is it going to get a malice, or should I get an advantage for the fact that it's basically trapped in John's shield at the moment, in Ishmael's shield at the moment?
I don't think it's going to resist this. It's more
Okay.
about you destroying
Fair
the
enough.
building.
Okay, fair. So
So-
it's just about me getting it done then. Got it. Cool.
Yeah,
That makes
and
sense.
I'm looking for the.
All right.
I
Yeah,
know that there's
I'm going to use my one sole persona point. So if I get if we don't end this soon and I get whacked, I'm gonna be out of.
Mate, I'm already out of persona points.
All right, screw it. Right. I'm just base 1 for now because it's a pose roll or no. Or do you want?
I was trying. Oh, here we go.
Sweet.
I was looking for the thing where I could reference some of this stuff. So, what are we looking at? We're looking at sturdy interior wall. I'm gonna say sounds like the thing.
Right.
So obstacle 6 to break the
right.
ceiling.
This is not gonna work where I want it to.
It'll. Do we have 6s? We don't. We don't have 6s. By the way, hopefully you guys have marked down all your dots for these rolls.
Yeah.
Because we're rolling.
So I needed that though because it was a difficult shot. So
Cameron, we're gonna deal with the fallout. Wink, wink of this. Cameron, what are you doing? Are you?
Well, I can see it's on fire. Its blood is literally fire.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best chance I've got to make this spell
practice
do
your spell
in the heat of battle. Now, the question I wanted to ask earlier, we've never set this in stone, but me and my familiar have a connection, right? We have like this link between us. Would I share any of its traits in certain ways? Because we both share the same eyes, but that offsets some of the unnatural darkness because it's an unnatural creature. We've never established this, but I'm just saying because that one die might make a difference in a minute.
So I'm gonna look at your thing here. Small stature, clever, keen smell, luxurious, keen hearing. If this was ordinary situation, maybe it could help you a little bit. However, this is as established
unnatural
darkness.
Okay, no problem.
And it doesn't have unnatural advantages, unfortunately.
No. I just thought I'd ask because
no, that's good.
We do share a bond. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm pretty much out of juice in terms of persona and fates, but the difficulty is going down.
It's going down by 1, so it's 6. We're at 6.
We're at 6. Hold on to your butts, guys. Right. But I can still fuck in the same things, right?
Yeah.
Fuck. Yeah.
Same roll. It's just easier now.
Yeah.
Burning wheel.
Burning wheel. Okay. Fuck it in. So that gives me that. I'm not gonna do any yet, and then base obstacle 6. Come on. Oh
my god, it's the same as like crossbow roll.
3 1s as well.
Oh my god. We're so dead. We're so gonna die.
Okay. Fourth obstacle 2 for the tax. See if you tire yourself out.
Obstacle 2. Oh, come on.
Just do it.
I'm laughing so much I can't click the button.
Click the button.
I can't click. Okay.
Yeah, you got it. No worries. Give us a D6 for the for the magic. Great times. We're on, baby.
Come on, I want to see some crazy magical shenanigans.
Yeah, this is the time for those.
Yeah, seriously, right?
We've got all the ingredients here to cook up something wonderful.
Your effect is magnified by 1,000.
Yeah,
I'd settle for that.
It is literally the thing that I enjoy the most of all. It is garbled transmission. So,
nice.
Let me. I need to get the details so that I can jump back and forth. So, here, and it is indeed spark shower that we're trying to do here. So,
something exciting has also happened, Wheelmaster. With that roll, with that botched debauchery over there, I have now achieved the dots I need to level up my sorcery.
It goes up immediately, so you can bump it up by 1 and clear your dots.
Gonna give it to you.
I think he's starting to believe.
Yeah.
My sorcery now matches my summoning.
Oh, there you go.
I think you'll find my sorcery
Mate, just
fully
keep,
operational.
just keep casting that spark shower until you can't cast it no more.
Yeah.
It's been great so far. Cool. So what we do is we
Just gonna give it to you.
so roll. King X, give me a D6.
Alright, okay.
So this is which direction we're going. Odd is counterclockwise, even is clockwise. So we're going clockwise then. And give me a D6 once more. 5. We're going 5 clockwise. So let's start at the heart of the matter, which is the element, which is fire. And we're going clockwise. If you want to follow along at home, 510 is where the wheel is in the Brain Wheel Gold.
It's fun and educational.
Yeah. So 5 clockwise from fire, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at Arcana. Interesting. And then we do 5 clockwise from the impetus, which is destroy. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're enhancing something. And next we have the origin, which is presence.
Let's not enhance the darkness. No, I got Vito. No, he's already too strong.
2, 3, 4, 5. Sight. Okay, so you increased your the area kind of here.
If you want to throw a bit of enhancement my way, King, I won't object.
What is the duration of it? Instantaneous. Now this is the big one, because duration can become permanent, which is what happened to you with your lightning spell. So it's instantaneous by default. So we're going 5 clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Elapsed. Okay. Yep. And then we have the final one, which is the area. So single target. 5 clockwise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Double natural effect. Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna have to take that out. Right. So we are. Our element is Arcana. We are enhancing. The range of our thing here is within sight. So, yep. Basically everyone present.
Oh man, I've just seen that 2d6 thing for elapsed time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Give us a 2d6, Matthew. I forgot. Let's see what this is. Let's see what this is. 7.
Ooh, exchanges.
Okay. So it's like a couple of, like a handful of blows exchanged between parties here. So it's not going to last for very long, but it will hit like anything within sight. It will enhance Arcana. It will do so for, like, let's say. So it's more than seconds, but less than minutes. So let's say a minute.
Space in between.
let's say a minute then.
85 heartbeats.
And it will. The area is double natural. That's kind of already covered by the fact that it goes, like, it'll hit everyone because everyone's stacked here now. So. Okay, so that's the ingredients that we have. Now, I'll dig up and see what we have for our elements. So, Arcana is the sphere of arcane power, magic. So you are enhancing magical power within the basically the entire martial hall for a minute. You're amplifying arcane power.
Well, all I'm going to say, Matthew, is I hope that enhances either my spirit blessing or the Jesus juice I've drank.
I was about to ask, does it also apply to dwarven natural magic? It is magic.
Yeah, I would say it goes for everything now. Like you've tapped into the underlying weave of the creation.
I've turned the magic dimmer up.
Yeah.
I like to think Cameron's been like, this combat's all well and good and it's very intense. Not magic enough for my liking.
Oh,
Jazz it up.
Well, actually, now I have a new idea.
Needs a bit more zhuzh on it.
All I'm
Yeah.
saying, John, if I had the crown with me now, imagine what would happen.
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck's
mate.
sake. Oh. We would literally just like wipe out the continent and then be done.
So you are
Look at me, Darkness. I am the
you
scary one
reach
now.
out with the power, and what happens is
All part of the plan, guys. All part of the plan.
yeah. So something starts happening which we don't immediately see what's going on because the Grand Marshal Hall collapses in on itself because Davarin shot a decaying petrified support beam, which destabilized the whole thing. So it comes crashing down. And in the aftermath of this, like no one's dead or anything from here. The aftermath is we're all basically stood in the ruin of what used to be this mansion. Like it's all folded now. It wasn't too sturdy to begin with, and it only needed a proper push and the combination of structural damage and catastrophic conjuring and concentration of magical power. That'll do it. So you are all picking yourself up from like dusting off. There's stonework that you're brushing away, decrepit wood that you're crushing as you're trying to get up. You can see where the manor used to be. There's like thick lines now of glowing red in the rock of the cave around here. There's just imagine like ore veins like streaking across all of the stone here in the cavern end where you are, sort of like throbbing brilliant like magma red. And there's boulders of stone, presumably from the dig, which are sort of like hovering in the air now, also throbbing, the veins on them throbbing with this eerie red vital glow. And there's like the temperature is going up quite rapidly. It feels like you're stood in a very small kitchen at the moment, which is not the case at all, but that is what's happening. There's streaks of vine sort of snaking on the ground quite quickly, like snakes, towards Cameron. And the shadow of despair is also pushing itself up from the wreckage of the manor, and is positively like there's from the helmet that it wears, there's just like a blazing inferno of red light streaming, at least from the eye slit that you can see. Ishmael.
Quick question: is it still on fire and bleeding?
Yes.
In which case, my plan's pretty much just to like point Cameron at it and be like, play that funky music, King Boy.
Yeah, give it a go, my king. Do your thing.
I'm gonna basically like shout to the king to like keep doing his fire mojo on that before it can get up, and then I'm gonna like be trying to keep the vines away from him while he does it with my sword.
So you're going a chopping.
So I have a question. So,
Mhm.
so can I feel like that the mojo of this place is now?
Yes.
jacked? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So this thing is buried.
It's sort of like rising up as you all are as well. It's brushing
Okay,
off
right.
the debris.
Got it. Right. So what I want to do is I want to
Break free.
mystically, with my Stenorian
Sorry.
blade, capture its attention with a litany of persuasive arguments, insults, and digs, etc.
So I will stop you here. There is, I forget exactly what it is called, the headline of it in the book, but the gist of the text underneath is you can't stop swords with words. Like once someone's swinging with swords, you can't say, "Don't hit me."
No, that's not what I wanted
happen.
to do. That's not what I want to do.
Okay.
I want it to hit me.
Oh,
I want
so
to drag
taunting
his
it,
attention
taunting
and
it.
focus entirely on me, mystically. And since
Wonderful.
Juju's up in the room, I figured
Okay, so yell at it. Yell at it.
Yeah, I want to yell at it till it gets so pissed off that it can only see Davrin and its burning coals of eyes. That's basically what I'm going for. Yeah. No. I know I can't talk him down.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify here because we're in the exact situation now described in the text. But
No,
give it a roll.
Saying, but that's not what I'm going for.
Yeah, the obstacle is 6.
Cool. Yeah. All right. I'll shoot for it. Any advantage for these Juju? The upped Juju, or does that affect the effect, or how are you playing?
Let me give a quick
Yeah.
glance.
And I'm going to fork in my oratory because it allows me to do that.
Stentorious debate.
I mean, it's like a dwarven magic skill. So.
Well, it is not specifically sorceress.
No, it's not. That's true.
It's
a natural. It's a natural dwarven magic, correct?
Yeah, it's a natural thing in your sphere of things, but it is not sorceress. So that
only sorcery magic.
Yeah. So that would be, for example, with the elven, like specifically sorceress songs. Categorically sorceress.
I got it. Okay.
So,
cool.
for example, if you were to now try and do like black metal artifice, that's magic. That would be all day.
Reason of Old Stone, probably.
Yeah, that's magic too.
Yeah, that's a magic one. That's a sorceress magic one, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, that's good to hear.
No, you're giving it the old go, like, come on, is that the best you can do?
Yeah.
You suck.
Bring it. Show me what you got.
Shrewd appraisal.
Smashes it.
Oh, sorry. Did I hit the? Well, it's the same. I have the same
exponent.
Yeah, same exponent for the both. So,
is
actually
this...
wait. I lied. I don't. I have
appraised you, sir, and I find your conduct lamentable.
That should be a 5, not a 6, as Texas. But I do have one more fate point left to give it a try.
Is your is Stentorious debate open ended?
Yeah, they both are. Yeah. So those should have already been.
All right.
Do you want me to just re-roll it?
So you have. I was just trying. So you have one less in Stentorious.
Yeah, I have one less dice in Stentorious debate than I do in Shrewd Appraisal. Apparently. Yeah. So
we'll drop off my sort of default here is like drop off the last one. So you're at 5 with 2 6s.
Yeah.
Which doesn't matter because that's already counted. So if you spend a fate, you can get an extra die.
Right, I get to roll a die. Yeah. So I'm going to do it because I need one success basically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Just making sure I know what I'm doing here.
Yep.
Big money, big money, big money.
No whammy.
It was a good shot.
No, you do it. You do it.
Okay.
You yell at it. It comes up. It shrieks, which is again an unearthly shriek from the void. It sounds like nothing you've ever heard on this earth, and it charges forward, and it slashes with the bladed staff at Davrin, and
mission accomplished.
Looks like Team Davrin's blasting off again. Like I'm one to talk.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna actually do that's just quicker. It's gonna do a thrust with it.
It's gonna skewer at me. Yeah. All right.
So here's the thing.
Let's get past that dwarven male. Yeah.
Let's go with the mid thing. So, and this is, by the way, also you've got some armor on, right?
I have dwarven male on. Yeah, correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which is so there's a bunch of detailed rules about weapons and armor.
Yeah, when are we been obviating a lot of that?
That we don't use at all unless we're in fight. because that's when you use the details. And here, yes, your armor would be like, if we're in a fight, your armor would be rolled in detail for the part that you get tagged on, right?
We are in a
However,
fight.
in a more abstracted context,
abstracted.
it's kind of like a extra die, but that's not what you're rolling here. You're not trying to like survive a blow. You're trying to. So what I'm driving at it is, it's not using its detailed weapon rules, and you're not using your detailed armor rules.
Sure,
Shit
fine,
just
whatever.
happens.
Sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah. So what it does is B6, impale
Right.
on Davern, and do put down somewhere in your notes that you got tagged with a true gold weapon,
True gold.
Oh.
because that is significant.
That's what I thought that was too.
Yeah.
I was like eyeballing it meaningfully. Wait a second, real quick. Doesn't matter. This doesn't touch my mortal wound right now, does it?
No, you go to PTGS and gear,
Yeah.
and
I know what you mean.
the topmost dot on B6.
Topmost down on a B6. Okay. B6. Okay, cool. That's in there.
Right, as that is okay. So you don't have your thing there. I'll very quickly. I'm on your sheet messing up. So
Sorry.
your mortal wound is 11. So I'm just gonna quickly go through this. Mortal, and then your.
And I have a trait that rounds it all down, or up, or whatever. It's the toughness one for the dwarves.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I was asking about it, because I was saying if we needed to know what that was to apply it.
Yeah. It's not going to be a mortal wound at all for you, but okay. So your superficial is there, and then we do traumatic, severe, meaty, light. All right. So yeah, you're at this now. So that's the that's what ends up happening. So you get
B4 instead of B6.
Yeah, you get tagged with a 6, which is between
Right.
your superficial and light, so it goes to superficial. So
Cool. Sorry. Yeah.
So that's what like the effect is there.
Works for me.
All right. Okay.
Oh,
good.
but I gotta make that note for us.
Yeah.
I want
Cool.
this poleaxe.
So yeah, it like as if from some movie franchise, it goes in sort of the shoulder area, and it comes out, and it feels quite woozy for Davern being impaled by this weapon. And then, King, you are not being paid any attention by the Shadow of Despair, who is seemingly intent on dismantling Davern.
Naturally, I have created a situation
Cloud
that's
in here.
advantageous to us, and that was my entire plan. This entire time, I was thinking 4D chess moves. You know, I didn't fail on purpose. I didn't fail by accident.
Somewhere
I
in the
failed on
distance, a fox-faced person feels joy, and just goes, "I knew he could do it. I knew he could. I always believed in him."
It's his third time with the charm. There's fire everywhere now. This thing is on fire. This thing is
it's
literally
bleeding all over the
This
place.
spell will be mastered by the end of this session.
Now,
We
don't know
will
how-
do it.
I don't know how this effect manifests me with this roll, because I'm the only one casting a spell. If it's bonus dice or bonus effect if I'm successful, but let's just go for it, guys.
Let's find out.
Let's find out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say, just let's go ham with it. There's things you don't know about what you've done, but that's nothing new for you.
Nothing.
I'm gonna say, okay, so you're casting your spell.
Same one as before. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, spark shower. Let me take a look at your sheet here.
Please do.
Cameron Redwin. I'm gonna say you feel free to put on an extra 6 dice on that.
Okay. I will.
And there's things here in play which aren't directly about what you just achieved with the arcane enhancement, but you enhanced something else, which was already here.
If I set off a thermonuclear,
You've caused a very loud noise in a very good echo chamber.
okay,
Is what's going on now.
so
The
I
magic
get
We go over to mushroom
before I
town,
do anything else, I get an extra 6 dice.
you know.
Yes. Okay. When I fail this, it's gonna be hilarious. I'm gonna fork in my 3 things because I'm still gonna do it. Still gonna fork them in. I'm not messing
of course
about.
you are. Of course you
Yeah,
are.
of course I am.
We're power metal all the way.
Yeah, power metal. Right, so that's 9 extra dice. I'm gonna leave the Arthur out because I need my. I don't have any
You're
left.
good.
I'm very slow. Base obstacle 5 now.
Yep.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Look at you.
I ain't done yet.
Mhm.
I see that 6, and I'm gonna try and top 10.
It's already rolled. If you want to spend a fate, though, you can get an extra die.
Yeah. It's going. Guys. Nah. Okay. Nah. It's fine.
I'm
Okay.
still good.
Spark shower. Your will is 4, is it?
My will. Oh, I got wills for day. Is 4. Oh, you are
Yeah.
correct.
Who's today, not-
Good. Excellent. So your base power is then 2 plus 3. So you're at 5, just baseline.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Cool wizards don't look at explosions.
Right, so it doesn't explicitly go in detail about it, but this is what we're going to do. So 5. Okay, so
I like to imagine Cameron like just turns away and walks slowly away, and then casts a spell over his shoulder as he walks away.
yeah.
Like he's throwing a lit cigar, like in a.
I really hope my fort roll still at 2 because I don't want to. 9.
Okay, so what happens is you you're at, well, we don't need to do the like straight up down, like I was going into like to find the detail. Yeah, and good on you for the fort there. You're not taxed at all by these fire shenanigans. You overload which fire? The one on the back or on the ground? Because there's a lot on the ground
On
as
the
well.
back. I'm on the back. I
So-
want this thing to know it's done.
So Ishmael's sword, which is it's gone at this point. It is like the leather, straps on the handle, long gone since burned. Ishmael's sword is burning in the back. You cast your magic into the wound, which is still spewing this viscous fluid, the blood, which lets off these like pale golden and black flames. And there's like, for all the world, it feels like there's a massive heartbeat that resonates through the entire cavern, just and there's just a like, and then there's just a conflagration that like goes off from the shoulder wound. It's just a magnesium flare, except pale gold, that just consumes. It turns into a pillar of fire, the shadow of despair, and just disintegrates. And the burning blood flies everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Ishmael's, the remnants of his shield get even more of the burning blood on them. And there's just droplets everywhere. Like it's impossible for you to shield yourself entirely from it. So what will end up happening is you'll get it on your traveling cloak and it will just burn there. It will, like, you deal with that at a later point, but you have absolutely immolated the Shadow of Despair, and the golden plates run like water across the rubble of the manor because they melt in the heat.
What about that staff?
It clatters to the ground somewhere in the gardens because it flew the shit away from this.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna go take a stroll in the gardens.
So Davrin follows the pale golden light of the
There's
bladed
melted.
staff.
There's literally fire of blood everywhere.
Flying out of the room. Yes, but I have quick steps, so I can just,
So Davrin flees after the bladed staff. His cloak
chases.
his cloak trailing pale golden and black flames because the droplets are sticking there. What does Ishmael do? You're stood there now, splattered in like golden and black flames, and feeling quite rough. To be honest,
my shield's probably done, so I'm just going to drop that. I've already grabbed a sword from one of these warriors that I'll sheathe. I'm going to see if any of them have got like a usable shield on that I can replace mine with.
Yeah, if you want to, this is a great opportunity for you to start learning scavenging, which is your stealing stuff from looting. Basically,
am I technically scavenging the staff? Should I be rolling?
You already know that the staff is there and it's on fire, so it's
okay. Cool.
We don't need to. You could go fetch that.
I'm just gonna go fetch it then. Cool.
So, scavenging. I'll just quickly bring it up. Scavenging. That's perception.
Okay.
Based. So,
does this armor look valuable? What stuff that survived the cacophony of violence in here?
Yeah, not a lot of it did, but if you would like to scavenge some, a lot of it melted. Like it's liquid currently, but
liquid gold.
Yeah, the gold armor melted on the creature. Most
gold
of it
will melt at really high temperatures quite easily. It's why it's bad for things like armor and bullets and.
I will beckon our friend, the spirit.
Tarvalon.
Avalon, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who strides up as he is beckoned, not a drop on him.
Yeah. Say, this medallion you gave me is a mark of your negotiation. It's very beautiful. I thank you for it. I know that strictly this is not a deal between the two of us, but how would you feel about making a larger one that we could carry and put in my hall out of this gold that is flowing currently? Could you shape it, possibly?
With a proper workshop and time, yes. We could definitely do that. And you see in the, behind Tarvalon, Ishmael's, lifting up an absolutely ruined cuirass, throwing it aside and picking up the shield from under it. It's like, yeah, this'll do.
Could you help us salvage this gold for that purpose?
I could.
Cross my palm with a deal.
What would it be worth it for you, my king, were I to craft a magnificent crest for your hall, to be no doubt hung above your throne?
Well, would you not like to have your name in this story told throughout the lands? Do you not have pride?
And obviously your totem would also be displayed above the throne.
You drive a good bargain. It shall be so. And Tarvalon goes to this, like these several streams of liquid gold, goes there, like makes a show of taking a leather strip, tying his long dark hair into a knot in the back, and so like strokes the longer mustache hairs to the side a little bit, leans down and just like starts just drinking the liquid gold from the ground.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. God damn knew it. See, when I don't make a roll, guys, I'm a pretty decent summoner.
Yeah, right. So
And when-
Tavern outside with said artifact item thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of, looking at it and just like. Now, I would like to make a roll real quick, if it is applicable, lost treasures wise.
Mm-hmm. To establish what?
I want to know what it's about. I want to know all
Okay.
about it.
Sure. Yep. That's
So base obstacle. What's that obstacle for me?
This is kind of, it's let's call it obstacle 2.
Okay, I'll take it.
Can I give him some obscure history help?
Absolutely.
All
Take
right,
that.
I'll take that. Hold
Your
on.
king provides.
All right, let's see. 1, 2. Boom, boom.
Right. So
That's pretty good.
I'll put this in the chat.
Oh, that's always a bad sign. When there's a pre-prepared note, that's a bad sign.
Bad times. So
Good
it's
time.
it is a bladed staff, which is to say a polearm weapon, as described previously.
Imagine like the Loki staff when
Yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
plays.
Except the other way, like curved like a sort of, I suppose a katana or scimitar would be. Like,
right, got it.
Curved towards you, so that it's like a slashing weapon.
Yeah, right.
At the
got
end.
It. Yeah.
So it is this like sword staff of ancient manufacture. This was created originally in like the far mists of time. You recall it because you've heard about the lost treasures of the very very far ages past, and this particular relic was created during the it's according to the story that it was created basically during the mythological time when no one has the records of when we started that age or when it stopped. We only know that when we started keeping records, like it's that like mythological time before we
before time, basically.
Proper verifiable historical stuff written down. So basically what I'm saying is it was created during the years of the sun, which is before the ages that are commonly known. It is made in part with some of the lost crafts of the dwarves, because the dwarves reputedly were the ones who either discovered or were granted the secret of the true gold. However, the craft itself is of elven make, and it is an elven weapon from those long lost ages. And you recall its name and the translation into common. And it is Anunglir, the song of the setting sun.
Oh, wow. Anglir, you gonna come home with me? Yes, you are. Yeah, you come home with Davern and Lucia, and we're gonna talk about secrets of the gold. Yes, we are.
Yeah, and I think are we departing?
Oh, I'm departing with my new sword spear. So yeah.
What about the king?
Presumably with the rest of them.
I mean, what else is there any more to scavenge in this area? Anything else to? I mean, I'm trying to commit everything to memory just to.
Well, there's always more, isn't there?
I'll have a quick scavenge around, see if I can find anything additional.
Same.
Anything specific you're looking for?
I'm going to be looking for any further remnants of the creature or any sort of salvageable equipment that I think we could use.
Right.
I'm looking for things that we can sell and make some money.
Yeah, sounds good.
The
So,
pot.
I've already got it through my
Sorry, we can sell
through
that
my
true gold
negotiation.
staff. That'll make us loads of money.
yeah.
What Davern's looking for now that he has the staff, and he's fixed that firmly to his back.
Any kind of unlikely in this firestorm, but any kind of books that survive.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure there are no remnants of the poet's dead relative to recover.
Right. So, with the last scavenging roll made by Ishmael, I think, and given an extra die by the king,
Yep.
which is to say the king gives one of the king's perception to Ishmael, because Ishmael's rolling perception. So mark this down, Cameron, to your perception, whatever this is. So I'm going to say obstacle 2 once more. No, obstacle 1, sorry. The end result will be 2.
Okay, well, I've got 4 successes.
Routine. I don't get anything for routines with a
So
perception.
you look around for a bit. You find maybe a book, maybe a scroll. It turns instantly to ash upon the slightest disruption. Lost. However, you do find another pile of scrap, which you see a glint of gold in there, and Ishmael and Cameron are going to fetch that. It seems like a pile of discarded objects, and there's just golden, candlesticks, some golden coins.
Yeah, I'm also going to suggest if there's any like liquid gold or anything, if we find any like non-gold items, we just dip them in the gold.
So yeah, maybe you do that. You get the candlestick,
Throw them on the wagon.
Then
we can be like, oh, buy this gold-plated tat. It's all going towards King Cameron's royal tourney fund or whatever.
So you find just like golden stuff. There's like a dagger with a golden handle. There's golden coins, golden, like I said, candlesticks, golden bangles, just golden wearable and household items just in a pile, with some other stuff and trash, basically. Seemingly discarded into a concerted pile of unwanted tat. And then you manufacture some of these fake gold things by rolling them around in the liquid gold, which hasn't been hoovered up entirely by Tarvalon. And thus we depart the excavation of despair, whatever this place may be called. And we head out, presumably, into the misty Eraduath on our way back to the swamp.
Indeed. I've got some studying to do with the poet.
Yeah, so do I, for that matter.
Although I have actually got to ask Tarvalon, because technically I believe I am my spirit now, so. So I imagine just like with Fade to Black, so I'm walking off on a black. Yeah, I'm Tarvalon now.
How about that?
How does this work? Thing?
Yeah.
All
right, good.
Thank you very much for running that. Very much enjoyed it, as always.
Very interesting.
Awesome.
All right. I want to